It's the start of a two-game homestand for the Harwich Mariners, and at 9-5 in the Cape Cod East Division standings, the Mariners still battle with the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, who have just that record as well. Good evening, everyone, and welcome into tonight's game broadcast here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Wyatt Kopelman and Devin Dobeck here with you. And Devin, to consider what Harwich was missing in that 5-3 loss at Bourne, coming off a convincing win at Falmouth, just seemed as if the hitting was absent. 3 hits in the 5 inning there, and then only 3 hits the remainder of that game.
Yeah, it wasn't their best offensive performance by far, but we've been treated to so much offense. It's just going to be filling the shoes of those big weapons that you lost in your lineup. When you talk about Seaver King, Kalen Culpepper, and Hunter Fitzgerald, those are 3 of your top hitters. They were the 3 top hitters before their departure. Now you're going to need more consistency from guys. You're going to be turning to guys like Jacob Humphrey, Matt Scannell, Kennedy Jones. They have proved that they can be good, but you need them to get more consistent, and that's what's been lacking.
The Harwich Mariners looking to a top 3 hitting lineup here today, despite only 8 hits against the Bourne Braves over at Doran Park, something that they will look to overcome here on their home turf. Meanwhile, for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks facing the Mariners for the first time this season, they're going up against a convincing starter in Tom Chmielewski of Princeton. He had 2 earned runs in his first outing, and then got even better the second time out.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Both these outings, he went 6 complete innings, 12 for the season for him. That was, for a long time, the league lead. I'm sure he'll surpass it again today. But, yeah, he's been giving quality outings. The lefty pounds the zone, doesn't waste any time, gets strikeouts. He's been fun to watch, and hopefully we get another treat here.
Chmielewski, a Massachusetts native, will give you the lineup that he'll face here tonight. For the Hyannis Harbor Hawks at 7-6-1 on the season, they are 2 games out of top seeding in the Cape Cod West Division standings. Leading off, the third baseman of Florida State, number 13, Cameron Smith, batting second, the first baseman, number 30, Austin Kelly. Batting third, the designated hitter, number 29, Brody Donay of Virginia Tech. Batting cleanup, the right fielder of Northeastern, number 17, Michael Sirota. Batting fifth, the center fielder of Western Illinois, number 33, Nick Mitchell. Batting sixth, the shortstop of South Florida, number 3, Eric Snow. Chmielewski's first pitch is outside, and we're underway at 6:32 p.m. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 26, Aaron Parker. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 2, Trey Lipsy. And batting ninth, the second baseman, number 7, Bradkey Lowry. The 1-0 clips the lower half. It's 1-1 here. It's the leadoff hitter in Smith. Had a solid season at Florida State this year in its first year under Link Jarrett. Has a 5-game hitting streak with 2 multi-hit games. As he fouls one off, he'll be protecting here. The Mariners coming off of that 5-3 loss against Bourne after winning 8-1 at Falmouth. Got an outstanding start out of Colin Rothermel in the first game of that 2-game road stand. Chmielewski looking for his first strikeout here, and he'll take at least another pitch as it's 2-2 here to Smith. The freshman of Florida State, native of Lake Worth, Florida. He had 14 multi-hit games, 36 RBIs to earn All-ACC freshman honors. Just underway here. The 2-2. Grounded over towards the left side, past Square, the newcomer. Camarillo fires across the diamond, and it'll be in time. A bang-bang play over at first will bring you today's umpiring crew, calling balls and strikes behind home plate. Mike Mackey, the base umpires at first, Al Bosdell, and at third, Tony Carilli. Well, that's a thrilling start here for Tom Chmielewski, and you tip your cap there to Ali Camarillo once again.
Yeah, really nice play, and he took a little long to get it out of his glove and get it over. Almost an infield single for Cam Smith. He can fly, but Camarillo did a nice job to have the throw on target, on line, and one away.
Chmielewski of Needham, Massachusetts, made his debut back on June 12th against Falmouth. It was the Mariners' first home loss on the season as he faces Austin Kelly here behind in the count. Now the count goes even here. Rising senior at Princeton, Chmielewski in that second start, 6 scoreless innings. He had 1 hit and 5 strikeouts in the Mariners' 9-3 home win here at White House Field. That was against the Brewster Whitecaps. His best start to date, he tries to top that here. Fastball on the inner half. That's looking good for Tom Chmielewski, and it's been looking good thus far this season. 1 away. Kelly, the redshirt sophomore at Lipscomb. 1-2, a swing and a miss. Chmielewski going to the off-speed that time. There were 2 up and 2 away here.
Really nice breaking ball that time. He set the batter up in Kelly really nicely with his sequence of pitches there. A couple fastballs and then just drops a breaking ball that falls off the table. Thinks it's going to be right middle in and then just fell off. Really good pitch, 2 away.
Setting the defense for Harwich at 9-5 on the season as Brody Donay of Virginia Tech fouls it back. From left to right in the outfield, Carrier, Humphrey, and Obi. On the infield corners, Guerrero, the newcomer of Oregon State, Scannell at first, Camarillo at short, Goodman at second. The battery mate to Shimoleski tonight is the UNC Wilmington Seahawks catcher and Brian Arndt. 0-1, a big swing and a miss on a fastball. It's 0-2 here. This is the start that Shimoleski needs. Not fall behind in counts. Got Cameron Smith down to 2-2 and forced a ground out on the game's first batter here. We'll see what he does. The 0-2. Called looking on the lower half. Shimoleski deals a slider, and he deals a 1-2-3 inning in his first inning of work in his third start on the season. A pair of strikeouts and a ground out for Shimoleski, the southpaw of Princeton, cruising early here, going into the home half of the first at White House Field. We're coming back at you here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to White House Field. Overcast evening here, 74 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, winds blowing north at 9 miles per hour. Bringing you the lineup here for Steve Engler. The Mariners at 9-5 on the season, leading off the center fielder of UMass Lowell, number 36, Jacob Humphrey. Batting second, the shortstop, number 30 of Texas A&M, Ali Camarillo. Batting third, the designated hitter of South Carolina, number 27, Kennedy Jones. First pitch, a called strike on the outer half. Batting cleanup, the left fielder of Miami, number 35, Lorenzo Carrier. Batting fifth, third baseman of Oregon State, number 33, Mason Guerra. Appeal down to first. The first base umpire, Al Bosdell, saying no. So it's 1-1 here to Humphrey. Batting sixth, the first baseman of Princeton, number 10, Matt Scannell. Batting seventh, the catcher, number 11, Brian Arndt. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 24, Devin Obi. Now it's 2-1 here. Batting ninth, second baseman, number 2, Jack Goodman. It's a Mariners lineup that was 8 for 15 with 2 outs at Bourne. Foul back. Had 3 hits in the fifth and 3 hits the rest of the game. The Mariners getting some scoring momentum there. Mariners had 2 leads going into the late innings before they ultimately fell to the Braves in their second meeting on the season. 2-2. A slider doesn't break. It goes to 3-2 here to Humphrey. These are the at-bats that Humphrey has shown in the leadoff spot as of late. He has a 2-game hitting streak after hitting 1 for 2 in that 5-3 loss to Bourne as he shoots this one deep out to center field. Going back, Nick Mitchell. He goes in front of the warning track and he makes the catch for a loud first out here for the Mariners lineup tonight. As we bring you the defensive alignment for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks with the last fielding percentage in the Cape Cod Baseball League. From left to right in the outfield, Lipsy, Mitchell, and Sirota. On the infield corners, Smith at third, Kelly at first, Eric Snow at shortstop, Brad Keylori at second. The battery mate to Frank here tonight, Aaron Parker. Frank out of Lipscomb. Southpaw deals here to Ali Camarillo. Great breaking ball down the middle for strike one here. Hayden Frank of Riceville, Tennessee, at 6'6", 215, a junior, rising junior at Lipscomb. He's yet to pick up a win or loss this season, brings in a 3.48 ERA through 4 games. 3 hits against Catuit, 7-6 win against one of the top hitting teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League this season. We'll see what he's capable of here, but he faces a very contact-heavy Harwich lineup, and certainly a lineup that is due after for what we had talked about before with the Mariners being due for a hit late at Bourne.
And yeah, he's been fantastic, leads the team with 11 hits. He's just had his first 3-hit game a couple games ago, and he's just continued to keep his pedal to the metal. One of the consistent players in this Harwich lineup, so we shall see what we see out of Ali tonight.
And he's facing a relatively consistent starter here for Hyannis. As we said, only given up a couple earned runs thus far this season. He's given up 1 in each of his 4 outings, and they haven't been deep outings, but albeit he brings in a 2.45 ERA from Lipscomb this past season, 45 strikeouts, so he averaged just about 10 for every 9 innings, and only dealt 12 walks. A 2-2. Chopped foul. Meanwhile, for Camarillo, had a 3-hit game just a couple nights ago. He has a 2-game hitting streak after going 1 for 4 in that 5-3 loss at Bourne. And in that win at Falmouth, could not have been a better day for Ali. 3 hits. The 2-2. Grounded back up the middle over towards the shortstop Snow. He fields, fires on a first, and it's in time. 2 away here for Frank as he's beginning to settle in. Shimoleski doing so back in the first with that 1-2-3 job.
And some serious fog also at the ballpark tonight. I mean, the sky is basically bleach white, so I'd be interested to see how these guys are able to track the fly balls that are hit high up in the air. I wouldn't put it past there to be a couple instances here tonight.
Kennedy Jones stepping in now, the sophomore of Norfolk, Virginia. Has a 3-game hitting streak with an RBI hit in the Mariners' 5-3 loss at Bourne. That came back in the first as he cuts a high fastball and goes empty for strike 1. Jones now hitting .222 on the season, 10 hits in 12 games. Been a pretty even-keeled guy at the plate as well. He's reached base safely or collected an RBI in 10 of 12 games, and that is the versatility that Steve Englert needs on his card this season. Plate discipline, as you see there, on full exhibition this season. He also holds 3 multi-hit games and 3 two-walk outings, rather. A 2-1. Lobbed out towards left center field, charging over Mitchell, and he'll make the catch again in front of the warning track. So just as Tom Shimoleski did back in the top of the first, over to Frank in the bottom of the first, he settles in. He retires Harwich in order, a pair of flyouts and a ground out. Scoreless going to the second here from White House Field, coming on back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Middle of the order here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks due up. Scoreless here from White House Field. Wy Kopelman and Devin Dobeck here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Michael Sirota, Nick Mitchell, and Eric Snow due up here after Tom Chmielewski, the left-hander of Princeton, dealt a pair of strikeouts in addition to a ground ball out for a 1-2-3 top half of the first. One and one here to Michael Sirota. He started the season with the Harbor Hawks with 4 combined hits in the first 2 games. Been a little quieter since, as he looks to represent the Harbor Hawks first base runner here on the evening. The Broad Channel, New York native at 6'3", 187, hit .344, is one of 6 300 hitting batters for a 45-win Northeastern program. He's ahead in the count here. This is a Northeastern program that finished 3rd in the Colonial Athletic Association at 20-10. He hit quite well against Southpaws this season at just over .370. 3-ball pitch skied foul. So this is going to be a tough cleanup hitter to have here today for Chmielewski as he looks for another scoreless outing. And it's been a Mariners team that over the last 5 games has gotten some strength out of its starting pitching staff. Now the payoff pitch from Chmielewski. Roped foul. 3.64 ERA over the last 5 games for Harwich's starters. Offense certainly needed to come through at Doran Park in the Mariners' first loss to the Braves this season. 3-2 again. Ooh. Just inside on a curveball from Chmielewski. So Sirota reaches first as the Harbor Hawks' first base runner here today, and it looks like it'll be a tight strike zone from here on out.
That looked like a really good paint pitch on the inside corner, but no call from Mike Mackey. I don't know why. That's what I think is a pitcher's pitch, especially because the break was towards the batter, not away. I mean, ugh.
Well, here's Nick Mitchell playing for his second Cape Cod Baseball League team this season as he watches one low inside for strike number 1. Played for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox and just joined the Harbor Hawks as they had an available space for him. He's 0 for 4 after making his debut in a 3-1 loss at Falmouth. Led Western Illinois of the Summit League this past season with a .354 batting average and hit 17 doubles for the Summit League's second most this season. Brings a lot of hitting firepower at 5'10", 175. Now a push been tried, but it goes behind home plate. It's going to be 0-2. He got off to a dominant start at Western Illinois this season. 6 multi-hit games through the first 7. Native of Carmel, Indiana here. Chmielewski works out of the stretch for the first time here today. Another check back over at first against Sirota. Mariners with the second best fielding percentage in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Their ERA is 4th at 3.65. As the 0-2 sails low, it goes to 1-2 here to Mitchell. Key for Chmielewski will be able to just keep that pitch count low, of course, after going just 12 pitches in that first inning. Can still face the minimum here. 1-2. Just misses inside. Another pitcher's pitch, as you were alluding to.
Yeah, another one right on the inner half. That one might have been a little more inside, but even still, he's got to get one of these calls sooner or later.
2-2. Grounded to the right side. Scannell to second for 1. The throw back to first is going to be nowhere near in time. So they get the lead runner in Sirota on a 3-6 putout, but it's a fielder's choice for Mitchell as there's one away.
Just a tough one that time. Long run for Chmielewski to get back to the bag, and of course, slow developing play. You got to wait for Camarillo to get over to second, and then throwing to first. Just a little too herky-jerky for everything.
Well, the Mariners, fortunately, did not throw the ball away that time. They have 12 errors on the season. Meanwhile, Hyannis with 20.
Yeah, they're the worst defense in the Cape Cod Baseball League by far. Harwich second best.
It's a pitching staff with a lot of ground ball-induced contact thus far. Eric Snow, meanwhile, stepping in as a freshman of South Florida. He batted .327 just as a freshman to lead the South Florida Bulls program this year. And he led the 21 and 39 Bulls in hitting and produced 20 multi-hit games, 8 home runs down in Tampa. Seems that Mitchell has some speed on the base pass. Chmielewski not willing to take a risk here, especially having an advantage as a southpaw. Meanwhile, Snow hitting .271 to start the season here with the Harbor Hawks outside. Well, it's not a hard-hitting Harbor Hawks team. 4th lowest average in the Cape Cod Baseball League this season at just .229. Has the 3rd fewest RBIs as well. It's a team that has not found really many winning or losing streaks this season. 1-1 rolled over to the right side and past the glove of Scannell. It's a fair ball. Holding at second for a moment was Mitchell. He'll be off for third now, as there are runners on the corners with still a 1 away.
Just a really tough bid that time. One of those funky little bounces that you get. And you don't get a lot of them here at White House, but once in a while it does something like that. And yeah, the bag, not the friend of Matt Scannell that time.
Still no score here from White House Field, but the Harbor Hawks are threatening as Aaron Parker, the sophomore of UC Santa Barbara, steps in. 0 for 4 in his second game played for the Harbor Hawks this season, an 11-4 loss at Bourne. But he did have 32 RBIs in 50 games, hitting .321 for UC Santa Barbara as he lays down a bunt. Arndt tries to pick it up, and he's going to let it go off the chalk. Wise move that time by the veteran catcher and Brian Arndt, the returning Harwich Mariners catcher, as instead of a first Harbor Hawks run, it'll stay on the corners. And that's great observation that time. Arndt just watching it go down the right field line, or the first base side, rather.
That's a high IQ play. If that ball is fair, I mean, what a play by Hyannis. They get a run. They got 2 runners on still, 1 away. Works out perfectly. It's kind of a squeeze play to get that run in and advance another one down to second. An aggressive play. We'll see what they do here with an 0-1 count, though.
Big spot for Chmielewski to face here. The throw down to second. It's a double steal. And one comes home to score, but the out's made at second. So the Harbor Hawks get on the board first here, and it's 1-0.
So they catch one, but one comes in. Kind of an eye for an eye there. It's just difficult to think about because would you rather second and third 1 out, or would you rather 1-0, 2 away, bases empty? It's kind of a pick and choose. Brian Arndt this time goes for the throw out.
Lofted foul to the right side.
That was a bomb. That went over the fence, just foul. Out in right field.
The wind blowing out to left field here today. The Mariners, meanwhile, in Bourne had wind blowing out to left field. That certainly helped in the early goings of that one. 1-2. Breaking ball inside. 2-2 to Parker.
Still trying to figure out how to control that breaking pitch. It's been his best, or it's been his most borderline, and see what he can do this time.
2-2.
Wow.
Just outside.
Oh, my goodness.
The slider has been there from Chmielewski.
That's the third one. That's been right on the corner.
I think about half the folks here at White House Fields deem that to be strike 3. But it stays alive here. 3-2. Fouled off. Parker hit .265 against left-handers this season at UC Santa Barbara. .341 against right-handers. Harbor Hawks on the board first, employing a double steal to get one on. 3-2. Tapped foul. A run and a hit thus far after a 1-run single from Eric Snow. It's a Mariners team that had its game against Chatham rescheduled for the second time last night. A lot of rain in the morning. They'll now face Chatham on the 3rd of July. Payoff pitch. Foul tip. It's turning into a good at-bat here from Parker. Mariners took the lead in the 5th inning for a second time last night. They'll have to play from behind here today. 3-2. Chopper over the mound, over to the second baseman, Goodman. He fires onto first, and it's in time. Dug up out of the dirt really well by the veteran first baseman and Matt Scannell for a 4-3 putout to close out the side. A 1-0 deficit, however, for Harwich going into the bottom half of the second. We're coming on back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Harwich, the left fielder from Miami.
1-0 deficit for the Mariners going into the second inning here at White House Fields. The Mariners 5-3 at home this season, getting their 3rd home loss against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox before beginning that 2-game road stretch. Should be Carrier, Guerra, and Scannell due up here as Carrier watches it on the outer half for strike 1. Mariners got 4 runs in the first inning at Falmouth as you look for some early scoring to play out of a hole here. That's quickly 0-2 here to the Miami product in Carrier.
Yeah, he's been slumping a lot of strikeouts for Carrier lately. Still trying to find that swing he had early on in the season.
And it was an explosive start to the season, Devin.
Yeah.
We remember just like it was yesterday where Carrier had the 3-run home run at Eldridge Park against Orleans, followed by a 2-run double late on, 1-2. Grounded over towards the left side. A bouncing ball for Snow as the South Florida product fires over to first in time. 4 up and 4 down here to start for Frank out of Lipscomb.
He's still being trusted in the heart of the order, that is Lorenzo Carrier. So definitely Coach Englert still banking on him to have some production, but unfortunately just has not been there. Gets a hit maybe every other game, one here, one there, but still trying to find that power that he was able to harness. And I'm sure it will come back, just in a bit of a slump.
And Devin, you mentioned production. This is an opportunity for Mason Guerra. He lines it back up the middle, a sharply hit ball into center field. Just as about to say, Guerra coming off his sophomore season at Oregon State with 71 hits, 12 home runs, and he leads off with a spark there.
That was a great piece of hitting. First pitch he saw up the middle with the wood bat. Why not? Really nice piece of hitting, and now the Mariners in business.
First pitch in his first at-bat here with the Mariners, the Beaverton, Oregon native and graduate of Westview High School, zips one back off the mound. As that forces Frank to work out of the stretch, the Mariners have their first hit on the night. First offer to Matt Scannell low. Lofted out towards left field, but foul. Scannell with 9 hits in his first 13 games this season, 13 RBIs. He has 5 walks, which he's begun to develop a little bit as of late. One. Breaking ball, a called strike. It's 1-2 here to Scannell. 0 for 4 in the Mariners' 2-run loss at Bourne 2 nights ago. The Mariners had 2 leads in that game. 1-2, fastball high. Plate discipline has certainly manifested itself over that 5-game win streak for the Mariners. A little bit less so as they've been strikeout prone as of the past couple of nights. And the 2-2. Lofted out towards center field. Mitchell moving to his right. And he makes the catch, and that forces Guerra to retreat back to first for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, just a little under at that time. Close to barreling it up. It was more off the end of the bat. Gave it a good ride, though. Scannell, of course, some serious power. Does have the first Mariner home run of the season. They're now up to 5 on the tally, but had the first one out to dead center at Red Wilson Field, which granted isn't that deep, but he got all of that pitch. Might have been out at White House as well.
Outside for a strike here to Brian Arndt. Production is what the Mariners need early on here. Doesn't require 4 innings in the early frames, or 4 runs rather in those early frames, but it will certainly be important for the Mariners to be moving runners here, something they missed against Bourne 2 nights ago, as it's 1-1 here to Brian Arndt. Hitting .310 on the season. He has the best batting average in the Mariners lineup right now with the departure of Seaver King. And he was hitting nearly .450 through more than a handful of games. Just about 10 as the 1-1 just misses. It's 2-1. And Arndt was 0 for 3 to end a 3-game hit streak in that 5-3 loss at Bourne. However, he does have a 9-game on-base streak ahead in the count here. 2-1. Grounded foul. 2-2. Approach for Arndt certainly has to be to stay patient, but also to protect with 2 strikes. Holds a lot of meaning as he looks for that balance here. That middle of the infield is wide open here as a shortstop in Snow plays deep and over to the left. 1 on, 2 away. The 2-2. Breaking ball down the middle, and it gets called looking. Arndt goes down on strikes for the first time here tonight. And after a 1-out base hit from Mason Guerra in his debut with the Harwich Mariners, the Mariners nonetheless score no runs and 1 hit, no errors, and leave 1 stranded. The Harbor Hawks ahead 1-0 going into the 3rd here from White House Field. We'll be back just after this on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. First strikeout from Frank, the starter for Hyannis, as he faces a 1-out base runner, and the Mariners do not get any damage against him in the second. The Mariners 2 nights ago in Bourne struck out 4 times in the first 2 innings. They've only done it once here. But Tom Chmielewski goes back on the mound still with a 1-run deficit to work out of here. First offering to Trey Lipsy, the Ohio State product, taken on the outer half. Sophomore native of Southfield, Michigan, hitting 143 for the Harbor Hawks this season. He's reached base just about 32% of the time this season, as he's hit over 250 in each of his first 2 seasons at Ohio State under second-year head coach Bill Moisello. It's a head coach who's coached or managed over 90 MLB players. 0-2, just tapped foul. Orzell, the head coach of Ohio State, one of the country's top assistants going into the head coaching role, just completed his second season in Columbus. And the Mariners right now, they need hits. They got 2 last night. They need to facilitate some here and avoid the strikeouts. As the 0-2 misses low, Chmielewski trying for his 3rd strikeout here. He misses low. The 1-2.
Oh my
Just
God.
inside on a slider again.
This is really frustrating. I mean, Art's popped up 3-4 times thinking he's got strike 3. I'm not sure where it's missing either myself. I mean, I understand like 1 or 2 close calls. Like, yeah, okay, they go the other way. But at this point, we're only in the 3rd inning.
He tries again here. And that's inside.
That was close again, though.
7 strikeouts entering tonight. Chmielewski picking up a pair, 1 swing, 1 looking back in the 1st. As he has to battle from behind here. The payoff pitch. And that's going to hit Lipsy for look to be on the back arm. So he'll jog down to first as the game's first hit batsman. Chmielewski getting a close ground out to second to close out the second as he works out of the stretch again here. Faced 4 in the second. Retired in order in the first. As Bradkey Lowry, the second baseman, steps in here. Junior out of Tennessee, the Trinity, Florida native, has collected a 3-game hitting streak with a 1-for-4 outing at Falmouth. One to nothing. The Mariners trail here against the Harbor Hawks. 1 hit apiece. Chmielewski missing outside there.
Fog definitely affecting visibility here. I mean, it's getting really kind of eerie, and the lights are being affected as well.
R.J. Thomas, the pitching coach, going out to have a word with the Princeton Southpaw and Chmielewski. Of course, just to go over mechanics here, Chmielewski going 6 scoreless innings last time in a 9-3 home win against Brewster, and did just that in his season debut. Gave up 2 runs against Falmouth. Chmielewski going with just 12 pitches in that first inning, Devin, but R.J. Thomas just trying to calm him down here to make sure that he can be as efficient as possible. Try not to spike that pitch count here.
And he's going to break this up like Mackey, that is. But, yeah, Chmielewski, his stuff hasn't been bad. He just hasn't been getting the calls. And, I mean, it's just like, I don't really know if you can really blame him. I mean, yeah, probably just calming him down. But if I was Tom Chmielewski, I would be really frustrated that I can't get these strike calls.
It's been a mystery. It's been a mystery thus far. So 1 on here against Chmielewski. Lipsy reaching as a hit batsman. Harbor Hawks with the 4th lowest batting average in the league this season. Scoring on a double steal attempt. (1-0). Skied fouled into right center field. Obi comes on to make the catch. And there's the first out of the inning here for Chmielewski. It was quick in the first. And Chmielewski giving up only a 1-out hit back in the second. But he will certainly look to get a ground ball double play to close out the inning here, with the strikeouts just not going his way thus far. And that flips the lineup card here for Cameron Smith, the 3rd baseman, coming back up here. Ground out to shortstop back in the first. Hitting .271 with 4 RBIs entering today here for Hyannis. Team sitting in 4th in the Cape Cod West Division standings at 7-6-1. Now the throw down to second. Not in time. So a stolen base here, and they're going to
Catcher or batter interference.
They're going to say it's batter interference.
And I think they're going to double him up. No, they were just returning the runner to first.
So the steal attempt is nullified, as Lipsy does not get credited with a stolen base. And they're going to say that Smith is actually out here. So it's not Lipsy out on the base pass. It's just Smith out on batter's interference. So here's Austin Kelly, up for the second time today. Struck out swinging back in the first. Sees a breaking ball down the middle for strike one. Haven't seen batters interference too often this season. Did see that verbal interference with
We've
the
seen
Chatham
it more than
Anglers
we
here.
should.
We've probably seen it more than we should. Kelly, the redshirt sophomore of Lipscomb here. He had the second leading batting average with 62 RBIs and 54 starts for Lipscomb this season. Hit .280 against left-handers. Lipsy on first, Shimoleski needing one more to get out of the third. 1 for 10 Kelly hits for Hyannis this season. 0-1.
Ooh, might have been a bit of a balk there.
I was thinking that too. Shimoleski had just turned that head back to first and the leg followed. That was close.
Yeah, that was a little interesting there. I think Mariners caught a break.
And they're going to get him in a rundown. The throw down to second is in time. Camarillo with the 1-3-6 put out. He closes it off for Shimoleski here in the third. So Hyannis, despite getting a leadoff hit batsman in Lipsy, not able to get a runner in a scoring position, as the Harbor Hawks score no runs on no hits, no errors, and leave none on base. 1-0 deficit for the Mariners going into the third here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Leading off the bottom of the third for the Mariners, the right fielder from Duke.
Moving into the bottom of the third inning here, Devin Obie, Jack Goodman, and Jacob Humphrey due up here, the 8-9-1 hitters. For the Mariners, who trail 1-0 here against the Harbor Hawks, team's first meeting on the season. Now a bunt here from Obie, and moving off the mound easily is Frank. 1 pitch, 1 out here. The rising junior at Duke falls to 0 for 1 on the night. So the Mariners only getting 1 hit in the first 2 innings and change here, certainly needing of base runners. They'll look to the new man in Jack Goodman as he gets the starting nod in the 9 spot here today. And if he can do what Mason Guerra did of Oregon State, zipper back up the middle, certainly would help the Mariners hitting here.
Certainly would indeed. And I believe he played for YD before this, right? I believe that Goodman was a YD Red Sox that we just picked up. So we'll see how he fits in. Had some really good college statistics.
Goodman, the Medfield, Massachusetts native out of Pepperdine of the WCC. That being the West Coast Conference. 1-1 here to the 6'1", 180-pound freshman. One outside. Rising sophomore at Pepperdine. Batted .192 with 5 RBIs, 4 doubles, and had a home run in his first season at Pepperdine. The Waves finished 19-30 and 8-19 in the WCC in their 8th season under head coach Rick Hurstenheiser. He was the WCC Coach of the Year in 2018. So we'll have to protect here.
Hayden Frank just looks really comfortable out there on the mound, though, Wyatt. You got to tip your cap to him.
So Goodman here, staying alive in the count. 3 straight retired here for the Mariners lineup after a 1-out base hit from Mason Guerra.
And the Hyannis pitching is typically very good. A 3.42 ERA, 2.39 opponent batting average. And they've had 141 punch-outs. That's 27 more than Harwich. The problem is the defense. They've surrendered 63 runs, only 45 earned. So the lack of defense has been the difference maker.
Mariners need a base runner here. 2-2, grounded over towards the left side. Smith fires onto first in time.
Really good play.
2 away here as Goodman grounds out on a sharply hit ground ball to the hot corner. And Smith, how about that? The recovery after backing up, did not hesitate with the transfer. And that's what you need here, even as the last ranked defense in the Cape Cod Baseball League, just to be able to retire batters, give Frank the support that he needs on the mound. And for Hyannis, certainly needing that support here against a Harwich team that is hungry for hits, as Jacob Humphrey watches a breaking ball down the middle. 0 for 1 today is Humphrey after getting a pair of doubles in back-to-back games. Humphrey has really started to come alive here in the leadoff spot for the Mariners. The key is, can he provide some 2-out hitting here, something that has not been a strong suit for the Mariners, as he shoots it down the left field line foul.
Yeah, and that's been the story ever since you've taken those 3 bats out. A lot of the Mariner offense has dwindled. I mean, we talked about them putting up over 30 runs in 3-4 games in that stretch on their winning streak. Now it's just trying to score more than 3.
Lofted out into foul territory. Smith makes the catch.
Awkwardly.
On the bullpen mound as well.
Right in the heel of the hand area of the glove.
Well, it gets the 1-2-3 job done here in the third as the Mariners go down in order. Nothing across going into the middle innings. The Mariners down 1-0 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Leading off the top of the 4th inning for Hyannis. First base.
1-0 lead for Hyannis going into the middle innings here as Tom Shimoleski steps back out. Grounded over towards the right side. Scannell gets it to a running Shimoleski at the bag, and he's going to get him just in time.
Scary.
So Austin Kelly grounds out. He's 0 for 2 here on the day. And in belated sense, Wyatt Kopelman giving over to Devin Dobek, my co-broadcaster here on the night. Devin, over to you.
Thank you, Wyatt. A little bit of an awkward play over at first base. Scannell probably should have went to the bag himself. I think he could have won the foot race, but Shimoleski really hustling it out to get there. A nice 3-1 put out, 1 away on 1 pitch. As first pitch to Brady Donay in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Shimoleski got him looking back in the first inning. Only 2 strikeouts for Tom, someone who usually is able to run up quite the tally. A 1 pitch is going to miss, and it's 1-1. On deck, Michael Sirota due up tonight, or in the inning rather, as it's 1-2 now to Donay. Donay 6'5", 223, a Virginia Tech Hokie, and he is a big dude. This season with the Hawks, a 375 on base percentage. Has punched out 12 times, though. That's been his kryptonite. 1-2 is up high. Make it 13 after that first inning one. Chmielewski would like to make it 14. Comes set and fires. Breaking ball misses up high. Count is worked full. Donay, the designated hitter tonight. Hyannis leading 1-0 just to hit aside. No errors in the ball game thus far. Payoff pitch is grounded foul off to the left, and so we'll do it again. And Chmielewski's got to find ways to continue to battle in these at-bats, especially when he's not getting some of the calls that he might deserve. 3-2 is going to be grounded over to the third baseman, Guerra. He goes on to first. It's a 5-3 putout, and there's 2 away here in the 4th. So it'll be Michael Sirota's turn. He walked to lead off the second before being the victim of a fielder's choice hit by Nick Mitchell. Sirota also got some height, 6'3", 187, out of Northeastern, as Wyatt mentioned earlier. First pitch is going to be in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Sirota out in right field tonight. The pitch. Fouled off. 0-2. He went 0 for 2 in the 2-2 tie versus the Gatemen. 4 combined hits in his first 2 games. Started really hot. And then 344, as Wyatt alluded to, at Northeastern. 0-2 pitch is chopped foul, and he spoils the punch-out pitch. He was also Northeast first-team All-American at the Gunnery School. Nick Mitchell awaits on deck. Chmielewski looking for a 1-2-3. The pitch. Misses low, 1-2.
Could you imagine had that gotten called looking?
That would have been really interesting. That's what I'll say. 1-2 is going to be ripped out to left field and down for a base hit. Nice piece of hitting that time from Sirota to hang in that count. Finally find one he could nail, and he ripped it into left field. Second hit, Chmielewski surrendered. And with 2 away, Harbor Hawks looking to start some sort of rally.
Devin, that's exactly the type of hitting that Michael Sirota can bring to this Harbor Hawks team. As I mentioned earlier, had 4 combined hits in his first 2 games and hit 344 this season. It's going to be what you're after going to face here, Chmielewski, all night long. Just try and pitch to ground ball contact. Instead, it was driven to left.
So Nick Mitchell's turn. Mitchell, 5'10", 175, out of Carmel, Indiana. Led the Western Illinois club with 354 batting average. Summit League all-freshman team his freshman season, as pops this one up. Playable for Brian Hart, trying to get under it and battle the fog. He makes the catch for, out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 1 on. We head to the home half of the 4th. Harwich looking to have some offense of their own. 1-0 Hawks. Will be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Ali Camarillo, Kennedy Jones, and Lorenzo Carrier due up for the Mariners. Camarillo on the day, grounded out to the shortstop in Eric Snow. Here comes the first pitch from Frank, who's back out there for his 4th inning. It's a shallow lob out to right field. Weird way to track it by Sirota. He had some trouble with that fog, but he's able to put it away for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 away, pretty efficient.
Yeah, it's been efficient thus far. The Mariners not really figuring out a way to work deep counts against Frank here of Lipscomb. He's only dealt 1 3-ball pitch here today.
Jones flew out to center in his first at-bat as first pitch misses for a ball. Jones tied for the team-high 13 runs batted in. He also has a 3-game hit streak. Matt Scannell, the other man, with 13 runs batted in. And they are second in the league, only to Hunter Hines, who has 6 home runs and ergo 21 runs batted in. He's been sensational at producing for the YD Red Sox. 1-1 is going to be flared out towards right and foul as it bounces down, and so it'll be 1-2 now to the newest South Carolina Gamecock. But Jones's offense has been something that's really streaky, but when he's able to put the ball in play, it's almost every other time it's extra bases.
Yeah, he's just going to give you a lot of stability throughout the lineup. That's what you need with, especially Seaver King being gone in addition to Hunter Fitzgerald, albeit he was a southpaw.
1-2, misses up high, 2-2. As the lefty Frank into his windup, the pitch. It's going to be popped up, foul territory. Probably no room as it escapes up and out of play.
Devin, did you see the final game of the College World Series?
I didn't, actually.
You didn't?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Oh, my gosh. It was an LSU run-hitting fest.
I did see the final score, though.
Yes.
2-2 pitch. Spoiled. Nice swing from Jones to stay alive, and we'll get to see another thing from Frank. Carrier on deck. Mariners with just 1 hit, as that one just misses inside. Another really close pitch. Probably could have been strike 3, but at least Mike Mackey's been consistent. Three-two to Jones is going to be ripped into left field for a base hit. Really nice at bat that time, a quality one. Able to work the count deep, saw 7-8 pitches, and then lined one right into left. It'll be a 1-out single for him, and the Mariners now in business.
That inside-outside swing that has given Kennedy Jones a very consistent approach at the plate this season. Shoots it right through the 5-6 gap, and the Mariners, with just their 2nd hit on the day, but turn to look none other than Lorenzo Carrier, a big bopper here in the lineup. And I don't know if you saw, Devin, but one of LSU stars and Dylan Cruz had the ring me point that you saw from Joe Burrow back in the 2020 College Football Playoff.
Was that Cruz?
That was Dylan Cruz, yep. So
he's going to have a great career in the majors after. He
yeah,
won the Golden Spikes Award as well.
Yeah, and then so you have that. You also have that from Angel Reese, which LSU just won a national title against Iowa on the women's side this year.
1-1 pitch to Carrier, an uncomfortable looking swing on the pitch, up and in, just jammed him, and it's 1-2.
Probably the most purple and gold I've seen in a college facility in a long time. And there were a lot of LSU fans in that women's championship game.
1-2 to Carrier, dives off the table. Nice job to lay off. That's a really tough pitch to Gage. It just dropped at the last second. Good discipline from Carrier. There is action in the Hyannis bullpen. Frank's night coming to a close soon as Carrier grounds this one over the shortstop Snow. He goes to Laurie for 1 on to first. In time, it's a 6-4-3 double play to end the 4th inning. And once again, Frank faces the minimum. 3rd time he's done that. He's been fantastic. Only other time he he only saw 4 batters, so really a superb outing from Hayden Frank. 1-0 Hyannis. We'll take another quick break and be back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And we welcome you back as we're into the top of the 5th inning here. Moving right along in this ball game, 4 innings in 1 hour. Of course, we know what happened last time as the rest of the game dragged out in Bourne after a quick half the ball game was wrapped up in an hour. Mason Guerra chops the first pitch he sees on 2 bounces over to Camarillo. He goes on to first, just barely in time. How about the wheels from Guerra that time? Chmielewski back on the hill for his 5th inning of work. And 1 pitch, 1 away. That will definitely help your innings count if you can get outs that quickly.
Yeah, some aggression shown that time from Eric Snow. He now falls to 1 for 2 after a hit back in the 2nd.
As that one slips by, it's 1-0. Scannell on the day flew out to center. We'll see what he can do here. He also had an Chmielewski on the hill. Drops that one in for a strike. And it'll be 1-1. Pitch to Parker. Miss inside, and it'll be 2-1.
Mariners just really need to get some run support here for Chmielewski. He's had it tough here today. He's had it to the point where he could have 3, 4, 5 strikeouts. He got a pair back in the 1st, but ever since, it's been a lot of ground ball induced contact that has helped him get out of innings. Of course, you consider that batter's interference call as well, but you want to make sure that you can get yourself some support with your lineup.
Parker grounded out to second. I had the wrong side of my scorebook open. And of course, Guerra was the one due up in the 5th for Harwich coming up. So I was like, oh, okay. Just went along with it. But we're back here as pitch to Parker, cut on and miss. Really nice payoff pitch from Chmielewski. And so it'll be 2 up, 2 down to start the 5th. Just his 3rd strikeout and 1st since the 1st inning. They have been harder to come by for Chmielewski.
Chmielewski's been on the verge of getting some of those strikeouts. Had he gotten them, he would have had the chance maybe to strike out the side as well. But nonetheless, you work with what you have. You have 3 straight retired here, and you face the bottom of the order. Lipsy and Lowry have not gotten a hit here today. Chmielewski, you'd think he'd be able to get ahead in the count here.
Lipsy was, as you mentioned, hit by the pitch and then picked off. Around the Cape Cod Baseball League, Katuit on top of Brewster 5-4 in the bottom of the 8th from Stony Brook Field. Bourne leads Chatham 4-1 at Veterans. Yarmouth Dennis on top of Wareham 4-2 at Spillane Field as the 0-1, another bunt attempt shown, but it's pulled back and it'll be 1-1. 4-2 at Spillane Field in favor of the Red Sox. Falmouth leads Orleans 4-1 at Eldridge Park, and of course, Hyannis leading Harwich here 1-0. Swing and a miss that time from Trey Lipsy. Nasty breaking ball started in the middle of the plate and then dropped away. And so it'll be 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Just misses inside. 2-2. Good miss from Chmielewski.
High strikeout batter here in Lipsy. Certainly due for a hit here. Just entered today, hitting 143.
Does have 3 walks, but 7 strikeouts with that. Swing and a miss. Make it now 8 for Lipsy on his season. First of the day, and Chmielewski, in order, sends him down. 4 in a row retired. We head now to the home half of the 5th, halfway home here at White House. We'll be back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Call to the bullpen here. It'll be Darren Horn digging in. This past season was at Coastal Carolina, 64 1/3 innings, a 3-2 record, a 5.60 ERA. Surrendered 47 runs across those 64 innings, as well as 66 hits, so his whip a little over 1. Walk to strikeout was 29 to 85. So a guy that has some nice control out there on the hill. As first pitch is going to be in there for a strike. It's 0-2 to Mason Guerra, now that we're back on track. The pitch bounced in the dirt, and it's 1-2. Guerra, the only one with a hit in the Mariner order, and as we mentioned, just about halfway through their time on offense. 1-2 is popped foul off to the right. And so it stays at 1-2.
And Horn certainly looking to keep his ERA down here this summer with the Harbor Hawks. Started the season, as a matter of fact, with 6 consecutive scoreless outings at Coastal Carolina, but struggled at the end of the season, got a little rockier with the earned runs, 15 combined earned runs in his last handful of outings.
1-2 to Guerra is just low. Nice pitcher's pitch from Horn. Another 2-2 coming. In there, strike 3. Down goes Guerra. First strikeout of the evening for Horn. And we'll now close the line on the starter, and Hayden Frank. He was sensational. 4 innings pitched, gives up just the 1 hit, no earned runs, strikes out 1 and walks nobody. He provided everything he could to keep his team in. They've only provided him with 1 run, but we shall see. Pitch to Scannell, misses outside, 2-0. Brian Arndt on deck. Mariners' best hitters coming up. Guerra, who has the one in this game. Scannell, well, of course, Guerra out, as that one got a piece of Mike Mackey. Scannell, who's flied out, and Arndt, who struck out looking. But needs some timeliness right now out of the ball club. 3-0 coming to Scannell. In there for strike 3 and 1.
This is where you really miss having Hunter Fitzgerald, another power lefty bat in the lineup. Certainly someone who can move around the base as well. Not the speediest base runner.
The pitch misses outside, and that will be a 5-pitch walk issued to Scannell. The Mariners have just their second base runner, or excuse me, their third base runner of the night.
The catcher from UNC Wilmington.
Yeah, with Scannell, as we talked about earlier, he starts to get that walk production up, aside from not having too many extra base hits this season. But for Fitzgerald, that's someone that's going to be sorely missed. Just the fact that he was able to get on base at least once each game, move the ball, move the runners as well. And right now the Mariners need hits.
Pitch to Arndt, in there for a strike. It's 0-1.
And you mix in the discipline as well that Fitzgerald had. It gave the Mariners an example to have in the lineup as well.
Next pitch is going to be down low for a ball, 1-1. On deck, Devin Obie. Obie, someone more than capable of putting one in a gap and moving runners over. We'll see. There goes the runner, and Scannell, the throw down is going to be not in time. Really nice slide by Scannell, showing off the speed there, and he actually popped up second base. Came out of the holster, and now Harwich going to have to do some digging to get that base back in.
Yeah, they've had to do some digging to get back in out of this 1-0 deficit, Devin. Now they have to do some physical digging to get the base back in. I've never seen that this season here at White House Field. I don't remember the last time I saw it in a college game, but Devin, I mean, if you need digging to get back out of a 1-run deficit, you certainly need Brian Arndt at the plate.
And that's the first stolen base of the season for Matt Scannell. He's now in a scoring position for Arndt, someone who's done a great job of getting these guys in when they're in scoring position.
Now, Devin, do you think in order to get that base back in, you would warrant a permit in order to start digging? Or would it be deep enough? We have to call a number?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. It's definitely, I'm surprised it popped up, but Scannell came in flying. So he danced off the bag here. Really big lead for Scannell. He was almost halfway to second. I'm surprised that Horn didn't step off, take a look down at him.
And Scannell had yet to steal a base coming into tonight either. The Mariners, with this desperation of only having a couple hits on the game, they certainly need to get runners in scoring position and get them home.
1-2 pitch coming to Arndt. It's going to be grounded over up the middle. Second baseman Laurie, he goes on to first and takes the out. Down to third goes Scannell, but there's two-way here in the Mariner fifth.
For Horn, now pitching more than 15 here in his first debut, or his first inning of his debut, I should say. And you want to be able to have that stress-inducing lineup right now. The Mariners, albeit they didn't get a hit, certainly moves a runner over and puts a little more pressure here on Horn.
Obi popped a bunt up back in his first at-bat, which came in the third. It really was difficult for the Mariners to get through the order. Still just the second time through, and we're into the 5th inning. No offense. 0-1 pitch is going to miss down low, 1-1. Obi in right field tonight. Still haven't had too many problems with the fog affecting players' visibility yet, but I'm sure that's still subject to change as the sun went down. That pitch is in there on the inside corner. Obi didn't like it, but unfortunately found its way on the inside corner. He loves to crowd the plate. And sometimes that's the best thing. You're able to barrel up the outer part of the plate, but sometimes you get an inside strike call. 1-2. Misses down low, 2-2.
The Mariners have just not fallen victim to strikeouts here tonight. We'll see how Obi can approach here.
2-2 pitch to Obi. Misses down low, 3-2. Jack Goodman, one of the newer Harwich Mariners, awaits on deck. Harwich 90 feet away from tying this ball game. The pitch. Just outside. A borderline pitch could have rung him up easily, but Mike Mackey calling it both ways. And so Harwich still with life. Runners on the corners, 2 away.
That is a gutty plate appearance from Devin Obi. Was down 1-2 in the count. Had 3 straight to work off of for Horn, and by all means, he took them to the limit. Now they're runners on the corners, but you need a hit here.
Goodman grounded out to third back in inning number 3 as pitching coach going to be brought out. Eric Luxus. And he's going to check on his reliever. I'm surprised we didn't see Frank go a little longer, Wyatt. He was really good, really efficient, not a whole lot of pitches, and was really in a rhythm. Just surrendered the 2 hits, no walks, and was running through that Mariner order. I'm surprised they didn't at least let him go for the 5th inning. And now potentially that decision looking worse. Of course, hindsight 2020. But with runners on the corners, this is the Mariners' best chance to get on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and he certainly kept the Mariners out of those capitalized two-out opportunities. So it's up to Horn now.
First pitch to Goodman in there for a strike at the knees. Give you another score update in just a moment. Actually, the only one that's changed is Brewster has knotted it up with Couture at that game in the top of the 9th at Stony Brook. 5-5. Just inside. Goodman almost got hit by the pitch and honestly probably would have fared the Mariners well. Top of the order coming up and bases loaded, 2 away. Of course, don't want anyone to be in pain, but big swing and a miss that time from Goodman. He's behind in the count 1-2. Got to protect. Mariners would love to have this run. A Hyannis team that sits in 4th place in the West. The West, a much stronger conference than the East, or at least more competitive. As that one's bounced in the dirt, going to have to be a play over at first, and it will be a put out. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Darren Horn, including that K2-3 put out. We head now to the 6th inning, still 1-0 Harbor Hawks. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Call to the bullpen. Night is over for Tom Chmielewski. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Absolutely pulled more than his weight to give his team a chance to win this ball game. Unfortunately, on the hook for the loss as it stands right now. It'll be Colin Caldwell out of Georgia stepping on to the mound. First appearance with the Mariners this season. Was just at Georgia, a 2-0 record, 8.31 ERA in his 23 games for the Bulldogs. 17 and a third innings pitched, 27 strikeouts, 20 walks, and surrendered 17 hits. So we'll see what he can provide to this Harwich bullpen, which is definitely had some struggles. You know, they've gotten all these great starts, you think. Sam Armstrong, Andrew Armstrong, Josh Bostic, even Tim Noon's given you some chances, and they just have been unable. Tom Chmielewski, they've been unable to hold the game out. That's just the reality as Brad Lowry steps in just the second time he's gotten a hit today. Not a whole lot of offense either side. As that one's going to be in there to make it a 3-1 count. Lowry flied out to right back in inning number 3. On deck is top of the order Cam Smith and Austin Kelly. 3-1 from Caldwell. Fouled off, and he definitely has some velocity on that fastball. See how his location will fare him. Payoff pitch coming from Caldwell. And it's going to be popped foul off to the right, and it escapes out of play. Right up onto the hill there on the right side of the fence. 3-2 still to the 9-hitter. These are not players in the order that you want to walk. 3-2 is lifted out into the gap. A little bit of a run for Obi, but he settles under it and puts it away for out number 1.
It's a Mariners team, particularly with its pitching staff, that is 6-2 when its bullpen gets a decision. So in addition to the starters, you've gotten a lot of support out of your bullpen this season for the most part. And over the last 5 games, the starters with a 3.64 combined ERA. So you hope that Caldwell can at least give you 2 or 3 good innings of scoreless baseball for your lineup to finally awake here and to rise to the occasion, just having a 1-0 deficit.
So top of the order once again, Cameron Smith making his 3rd at-bat, and he was ruled out on a batter interference from the throw by Arndt down to second. That was what happened back in the 3rd. He's also grounded out to the shortstop, but someone who's been fantastic, hitting .270 out of that leadoff spot coming in today for the Hawks. Florida State Seminole, and does have some power, pair of home runs. On base percentage above .350. 2-1 coming from Caldwell is chopped once again off and back into the netting, 2-2.
Top third of this Hyannis lineup has been too quiet for the Mariners to not strike back with their lineup. It's just how it's gone here.
And that one's going to hit the batter, and Smith, didn't feel good, but he appears to be okay. Jogs down, accepts his base at first. And so with 1 away, the Hawks have 1 on, and of course that 1-run lead safe by no means. Just takes 1 swing of the bat to tie it up or take the lead, so we shall see. Austin Kelly digs in now. Kelly, a redshirt sophomore out of Lipscomb, Leland, Mississippi native. He's just 1 for 10 coming into today and 0 for 2 on the day, so now 1 for 12. Ahead in the count, 1-0. As he lifts this one high and deep out to right field, Obi ranging over to his left, Sandals under it, now retreats back right, and it will be into the webbing for out number 2. I mean, I'm having trouble tracking these balls out to the outfield. I'm paying more attention to the players who go after them. But, yeah, visibility definitely a factor here. So far, both sides have done a decent job of being able to accept that and make plays. And now we got some fog literally blowing in. I mean, you can see it moving laterally across the diamond as 0-1. Almost looks like smoke from the grill, but coming from the opposite direction. 0-1 pitch coming to Donay. Misses up high. Donay on the day 0 for 2. Strikeout looking and a ground out to third. Big lead off of first base for Cam Smith. We'll see if he elects to take off on the lefty. As foul tipped into the net, into the glove. It's 1-2. Here comes the 1-2 offering from Caldwell. Just missed outside. And it'll be 2-2. Coming set once again. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Caldwell picks up his first strikeout in the Cape Cod Baseball League and is able to escape the hit batsman. So, one runner left on, same score, 1-0, heading to the home half of the sixth. Mariners in search of a run. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Heading now to the home half of the sixth, top of the order for the Mariners. If there's going to be a time for them to get a run, it is now. It'll be Jacob Humphrey's turn. Humphrey on the day is 0 for 2, a fly out to center field and also pop out to third. And he gave that ball a ride out to center field just in front of the warning track. He's ahead in the count 1-0. As grounds this one over in the hole. Going to be a tough play. Some speed from Humphrey, and he's there in time. Infield single for Humphrey, and wow, what a great effort, though, from Eric Snow to get the ball over to first base. I mean, that took some serious arm strength and was able to get it there, but Humphrey, fastest guy on the Mariner team, leads the club with 6 stolen bases. So instrumental piece could be on the base path with nobody away.
When you need to get runners on the base paths and you need to get moving, it's Humphrey who's going to do it. He's found some hitting continuity the past 2 games, and he delivers out of the box that time as well. Just really fast to the bag that time, and he's going to have a strong lead off of first here.
Ali Camarillo is up. He grounded out to short and is flied out to right, making his 3rd plate appearance here. Keep an eye on Humphrey, especially with a right-handed hitter or a right-handed pitcher. He'll be able to get a good jump. I'm sure we'll see him go soon as Camarillo just hits that off the end of the bat in foul. And so now the count will be even up at 1-1. Good to it. Jumping out in front of Brewster, 7-5 in the top of the 9th. Bourne on top of Chatham, 8-1 in the 6th. YD leads Wareham, 5-2 in the 7th. And Falmouth leading Orleans, 4-2 in the 6th. Camarillo set. Here comes the pitch from Horn, and he grounds it just foul. Almost got a piece at third base, but leaked out to the left, and so it'll be 1-2. Kennedy Jones on deck, another guy who can put a swing on a baseball. And with nobody away here, Mariners could do something special in this inning. Humphrey on the base paths. Watch. Keep an eye on him. Pitch to Camarillo, swing and a miss. He was fooled that time. Got caught lunging in a pitch on the outer part of the plate. That will be strikeout number 3 for Darren Horn. And there's one away here. Nice answer after the infield single.
Horn just not having the most efficient first outing of the season here in his debut, but has responded relatively well here in the 6th. That being said, there is only 1 out and a ground ball double play. This is where you need your infield to step up. Meanwhile, for the Mariners, just to get some runs going.
There goes the runner and Humphrey. The throw down is going to be not in time. Really good bid that time from Parker to get it out of the glove and on a bounce down to second, but Humphrey showing off the speed. And he's going to be in there with his 7th stolen base of the season. That guy can fly, that is for sure. When it comes to Humphrey, it's been all about his jump and really successful at timing right-handed pitchers. 1-0 to Jones. In there for a strike right down Broadway. It's 1-1. 1-0 Hyannis, home half of the 6th, as we just approach the top of the hour here. That one misses outside, and it's got to be difficult for Horn when he's observing second base and seeing guys move back and forth in and out. Must break his concentration. Two balls and a strike now to Kennedy Jones, the designated hitter. Does already have a single on the day. As Humphrey was headed for third that time, Jones fouled it off. Maybe a hit and run in play there from Coach Mark Tebow and the Anglers, or excuse me, and Coach Englert. Jones is also flied out to center field. 2-2 pitch is going to be rolled over softly towards the shortstop, and he boots it. Eric Snow was charging in. Humphrey ran right in front of him, might have broke his focus, and then it went right off the glove, and that's probably best case scenario for Harwich. Now you got runners on the corners and 1 away for Lorenzo Carrier, who's someone more than capable of giving it a ride into the outfield, even if it's not a hit. Sacrifice fly very much in play for him.
It's a sloppy fielding Hyannis team, and it paid the price there. Now 21 errors on the season. Jones, meanwhile, getting that base hit back in the 4th. You were thinking maybe he cashes in again here with the number of multi-hit games he's had. Just gets it enough that would have probably gone past the infield anyway had Snow not been there at short. But still, you have runners on the corners instead of a tie ball game. And that's what you're going to take here, especially with 1 away and only 1 away.
And coming out to the mound, going to be the pitching coach once again, and Eric Luxus, and we'll see how they're going to talk this over. Probably talk about what the catcher in Aaron Parker will do if the event that Kennedy Jones wants to steal second base, if they want to throw down and risk the run or give them the 90 feet. And I mean, because if they throw down, Humphrey's scoring, no question. So we'll see if Harwich puts Jones in motion and figures it's kind of a sacrifice in itself, or they get second and third with 1 away, best case scenario.
And also to consider, what if you do nothing as well, given that Carrier here tonight has a pair of groundouts. If he's on the verge of going towards another one, you maybe think that just keeping the runners can serve you well if Carrier is able to put one past the infield that still scores 1.
So we shall see now. Lorenzo Carrier is really due. He's grounded out to shortstop twice, one time a double play. He's got a chance to tie this ball game up 1 out. And he lifts this one out to deep left field. Going back is Lipsy at the wall. It's gone. Lorenzo Carrier, a 3-run bomb. His team-high 2nd of the season. And 1 swing of the bat changes everything. Is the Miami product. Launches that one out towards Hyannis. And the Mariners now in front by 2. It's 3-1.
We had just talked about Carrier being due for an extra base hit. It wasn't a single. And after his debut, in which he blew the torches off the bat at Aldridge Park, he gives the Mariners maybe just their biggest lead of the season.
And the crowd really getting into it, cheering him on. It's nice to hear a little life from the White House faithful. As now it'll be Mason Guerra's turn. What a shot, though, from Carrier. As first pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Guerra is struck out looking and also has singled. 4 hits now for the Mariners thanks to that big blast. And of course, the error more costly. It costs Hyannis another run at this point. And an out in addition to that. 1-1 pitch is going to be in there for a strike. Awkward. As it's 1-2 now. As this one misses outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck, Matt Scannell, still 2 outs to work with for the Mariners. That one in there, rung up. Nice pitch that time. Strikeout number 4 for Horn. And so there will now be 2 away.
Horn's done a good job of answering back here. He stranded a pair of runners back in the 5th on the corners. And albeit you give a 3-run home run, this is the time where, of course, you want to be able to force some contact.
This one's chopped in fair territory. Horn flips on to first, and it's a 3-1 putout. Lorenzo Carrier's blast gives the Mariners a 3-1 advantage. We head now to the late innings. 7th inning coming up. We'll be right back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Heading into the 7th inning of action, Mariners now in front 3-1, and I'll turn broadcast play-by-play duties back over to my broadcast partner, Wyatt Kopelman. Wyatt.
All right, Devin, well, the Mariners taking their first lead of the night on a 3-run blast from Lorenzo Carrier of Miami. Michael Sirota on for the 3rd time here. Taken low. Sirota reaching on a walk back in the 2nd. 2-out single to left field back in the 4th. Inside here. Caldwell of Georgia on for his 2nd inning of work here. 3-ball pitch on the way. Fastball comes down the chute.
And it's got to be a lot easier and kind of an exhale for Caldwell. He was trying to keep his team in it. Now trying to keep his team ahead. He's got that insurance.
Lofted foul towards the right side. And then, Devin, you mentioned the insurance. I mean, the Mariners were just looking to get back on the board for the first time here today after they'd taken 2 leads at Bourne. They needed a jolt out of their lineup. They looked to the power hitter in Lorenzo Carrier for his 2nd home run on the season. Meanwhile, Caldwell trying to battle back in this count here. The payoff pitch, the cleanup hitter.
Ooh.
Breaking ball goes high at the letters, and it has been that tight of a strike zone here today that Caldwell is unable to pick up his 2nd strikeout and would have been back-to-back strikeouts going back into the 6th as there's a leadoff base runner here for Hyannis.
Yeah, that one might have been a little on the higher side. Tough one. Good take that time from Sirota, and yeah, he's been a real pain on base, as you mentioned, the 3rd time, 2nd by way of the walk, and we'll see how Caldwell can respond now in some trouble.
The Mariners had trailed 1-0 going into the 6th inning. A double steal getting the Harbor Hawks their only run here on the night. 6 combined hits, meanwhile, for the Mariners and the Hawks. 1-0 here to Nick Mitchell of Western Illinois. As he watches the fastball, and that fastball evens the count at 1-1. Mitchell still looking for his first hit here in a Harbor Hawks uniform. He led Western Illinois, the Summit League, with a .354 batting average, 17 doubles as well. Now the throw over to first on a pickoff attempt. The throw down to short, and it gets away from Camarillo. Sirota past 2nd and into 3rd. He's getting the wave around sign as it goes all the way into left field. Sirota taking his speed into home plate as he scores standing up.
Oh, my goodness. That was just really demoralizing to watch that time.
An error on Scannell at first as he missed Camarillo well wide. As he instead he sent it into left field, and it's a 3-2 lead here for the Mariners on what was a 1-3-6 put-out attempt. And instead of getting Sirota at 2nd, he comes all the way around to score on arguably the most bizarre blunder for the Mariners this season in the field. Now 1-2 here to Mitchell in what's a different at-bat now as he has nobody to work with here and a 1-run lead for the Mariners. Foul tipped into the glove for strike 3 as Mitchell goes down on strikes for the first time here today. Meanwhile, it's the 6th strikeout for the Mariners pitching staff. But in order to get through this one now in a 1-run ball game, you need your defense to be able to back up that strikeout rate.
I mean, yeah, that just going back to that was a Little League play. I mean, they had the pick off. Caldwell maybe a little lackadaisical in getting it over to first base because the runner took off on first motion and then didn't really fire it over to Scannell, and then Scannell just had to rush it because the runner would have been safe even with a throw on target, and he just whipped it in the left field. Carrier's got to knock that down, though, in left, and, yeah, just a free 270 feet from the Mariners.
1 ball, 1 strike here to Eric Snow. A stolen base and an E3. The Mariners getting their first error charged against the night. 2-1 here to Eric Snow, the freshman of South Florida of the American Conference. The 2-1, and there's a beautiful breaking ball down the middle. It goes to 2-2 as Snow will have to protect. Someone who has not struck out a ton of times this season, has 10 strikeouts. Very accustomed to getting on base as well. The 2-2, chopped to the left side, and we'll keep it here.
Also going to charge an error to Lorenzo Carrier out in left field for the bobble attempt. But when you think about it, the Hyannis error led to a run for Harwich on the home run, and so a Harwich error leads to a Hyannis run. All works out.
A weak Tapper back up to the mound. Over to first Caldwell, and it's in time. 2 away here in the 7th after an E3 and an E7 to score Michael Sirota, who had led off the 7th here. 2 errors on 1 play. I had really not seen that in a college baseball game in quite some time. So a strikeout and a ground out here for Caldwell in his 2nd inning of relief in his debut here for Harwich. Aaron Parker, the catcher, now up for the 3rd time here today. It's a Hyannis Harbor Hawks team, despite having one of the lower averages in the league, just finding ways to stay in this ball game. Flared foul. Just past the Mariners bullpen down the left field side. So quickly 0-2 here to Parker. Caldwell looking for his 3rd strikeout here on the night. Oh, 2. Lofted foul.
Definitely giving it a ride, though, into foul territory. That one deep in the woods out on the left side. Aaron Parker showing off some power.
Wind having a little bit of support in that time as well. Parker of UC Santa Barbara, 0-2. Flared foul to the right side. Now 5 pitches here in this at-bat, despite nobody on. Parker using a lot of aggressiveness here for the Harbor Hawks as they look to him after he had 32 RBIs this season at UC Santa Barbara. The 0-2, a swing and a miss. Caldwell dealing off speed that time. It's the 7th strikeout here for the Mariners pitching tonight. But nonetheless, the Harbor Hawks get back on the board with a run scored on no hits, 2 errors, and nobody left on. A 3-2 lead for the Mariners going into the bottom of the 7th. But first, it's time to stretch here at White House Field. We'll be back after this here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. So the Harbor Hawks pull to within 1 here in the 7th on a pair of errors despite having no hits as Michael Sirota comes across the score. Now it's over to Brian Arndt, Devin Obie, and Jack Goodman, the lower third of the Harwich lineup. Due up here against a new pitcher in the game in Dennis Colleran, the senior out of Northeastern. The North Attleboro, Massachusetts native has not yet pitched for the Harbor Hawks, Devin, but certainly not had Horn, the prior reliever. He has pitched in 15 games and has 24 strikeouts in his freshman season at Northeastern, and that was last season. And he didn't make any appearances for Northeastern in his 2nd season, for that matter. So certainly looking to get back into the swing of things here against Brian Arndt as he has to battle back. And he stays alive in the count as Arndt is ahead 3-1 here. The final line on Horn, meanwhile, 2 innings, 3 runs, 2 earned runs. As here's a chopper over towards the left side. Snow scoops, fires to first. It's in time for the first out. Now 3 straight retired between Horn and Colleran. So the Mariners, after looking to a 3-run home run from Lorenzo Carrier to left field back in the 6th, hold only a 1-run lead. And Devin, you consider who to go to if you're Harwich, if you're not going to keep Caldwell, the man making his debut from Georgia here today. You certainly have certain opportunities available in the bullpen. A few guys on rest, to think of a couple. Chris Latito, in addition
Will
to
Pearson.
Will Pearson,
Probably see him.
Joe Savino as well.
He's actually loosening in the bullpen. I believe Savino actually getting a start upcoming, so I'm not sure if we will see him out of relief. But yeah, I think he'll be getting a starting nod sooner rather than later.
Obi has to protect here meanwhile. Reach on a walk back in the 5th. And a swing and a miss. Obi goes down on strikes for the first time here today. He falls to 0 for 3 as they're quickly 2 away here in the 7th.
And this Mariners team just one that likes to strike out. That's just the reality. Well, they don't like it, but it's a commonality for them. They average just over 10 strikeouts a game, and unfortunately, it's really tough to have consistent offense when you're not even putting the ball in play. As a team, the Mariners have 130 strikeouts. Their record's 9-5, so yeah, right around 10 a game, including the one here tonight.
There's a strike to Jack Goodman, the freshman of Pepperdine, still looking to reach base here in his Mariners debut. So with Pearson warming in the bullpen and the Mariners only up by 1, they need a 2-out spark here. Instead, it's a comebacker at the mound. Colleran over to first, and it's in time for a 1-2-3 inning. The Mariners now with 5 straight retired against Hyannis pitching, giving Colleran a clean inning going into the 8th inning. 3 runs for the Mariners, 2 runs for the Harbor Hawks, as we'll be back in a moment here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Into the 8th inning here at White House Field, the Mariners clinging on to a 3-2 lead over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in their first meeting on the season. Wyatt Kopelman, Devin Dobek, delighted to have you aboard for the rest of the way here tonight, and what likely will be a barn burner as the Mariners go to the right-hander in Will Pearson out of Georgia. Pearson filling his Georgia pitching cohort in Colin Caldwell in his debut. He went 2 innings, 1 unearned run, no hits, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. He's set to face Trey Lipsy, Bradkey Lowry at the bottom of the lineup as he deals the first pitch low at the knees for strike number 1. Lipsy on the evening reaches a hits batsman back in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 5th against Tom Shimleski, the starter here tonight, the southpaw to Princeton. He went 5 innings, gave up just 1 earned run. He had 4 strikeouts. Certainly had a lot of lateral movement on that slider and the curveball as well. But he did not end up walking away with as many strikeouts as he had desired. So it's 1-1. Oh, and that's going to take Mike Mackey behind home plate. Getting up gingerly after that. A spiker in the dirt here from Pearson. Looks to be okay here.
Yeah, that didn't feel good. Mackey's in some pain. That one just got by Arndt and just nailed him. But Pearson on the season has thrown 4 1/3, 71 pitches across those 2 outings. Has surrendered 1 earned run and 6 strikeouts. He had 5 strikeouts back in his first appearance against Falmouth. 3 innings pitched, was sensational. So Mandalewski, the trainer, also going to touch base with Mackey. But Pearson, this is a guy who can record outs in many ways. Loves way of the K. 6 strikeouts across those 4 1/3. Can also walk people, 3 walks in that time. And when you're facing 8-9-1, got to make sure you get those first 2 outs before you dive in on the top of the order, because that's when things get ugly. So hopefully he can respond. The bottom 3 in the order, of course, Parker hit last inning, but the bottom 3 in the order is a combined 0 for 7.
Bounce in the dirt again. Mikey having some fun behind home plate now, giving Brian Arndt, the catcher here for Harwich, a fist bump. So it's 3-1 here. And as you said, Devin, you want to get a couple of quick outs. The middle of the Hyannis order responsible for 2 hits here. 3-1 Ellipsy runs inside, 3-2. So ball 4 rather issued here to Lipsy as he reaches for the second time here today. That ends a streak of 3 straight retired, and that went back from Colin Caldwell, as R.J. Thomas, the pitching coach, will have a word with Will Pearson here. In his last outing, he gave up only 1 earned run and 1 hit in an inning, a third, in that 1-run loss at Yarmouth Dennis, and he's had 5 strikeouts and 10 batters faced. As the lone reliever for Harwich back here at White House Field in that season debut against Falmouth, the Mariners losing 2-1 that night. That was on the 3rd night of the season. So Thomas just going out, having a quick conversation to go over mechanics here with Will Pearson. It was a full count battle, and Trey Lipsy got his first walk here on the night. So that brings up Bradkey Lowry here, victim of 2 flyouts here. 1 to Colin Caldwell and 1 to Tom Shimoleski. Mariners had trailed by 1 going into the bottom of the 6th. Bonatep Schoen playing in at 3rd. Here is Guerra, making his debut here tonight from Oregon State.
Did he pull it back? I didn't think he pulled it back.
It didn't look like it, but it's 1-0.
I did not think he pulled it back.
Huge 3-run home run from Lorenzo Carrier, his 2nd home run on the season, giving the Mariners their first lead of the ball game here. Guerra still playing in on this bunt attempt. There's a strike. It's 1-1. An E2 and an E7, rather an E3 and an E7, getting Michael Sirota down from first into home. 1-1. Back pick down at first, not in time. Somehow that would have been. Brian Arndt very well accustomed to doing that, in addition to the thieves he's caught on the bases this season. Now Jacob Gomez, the southpaw of Old Dominion, warming up.
And Laurie's got to be able to get that bunt down. You're showing twice and you miss both, not even a foul ball. I mean, these are opportunities you have to cash in on in these situations for Hyannis.
Well, he won't be showing one here as he takes it on the outer half and it gets called looking. Will Pearson getting his first strikeout on the night, his 7th on the season, as he has an out here, and there's still 1 on here.
And yeah, that was a really lousy at bat from Laurie. Not to beat a guy while he's down, but I mean, you're showing bunt, you watch a strike go by, you watch another strike go by, and then finally you get caught looking when you need to put the ball in play. Tying runs on base, can't go down looking, and got to make sure you get that bunt down earlier in the at-bat.
Taking off that time, Trey Lipsy certainly offers a lot of speed here for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. The Bourne Braves, meanwhile, 2 nights ago, were one of the fastest teams, already with nearly 30 stolen bases this season. Chopper over towards the left side. Guerra fires to second, and they're not going to get him. Goodman was perhaps off the bag, maybe not. Now the home plate umpire, Mike Mickey, trying to go out there and have a closer look. So instead of getting at least 1 in what was a design double play opportunity, There are 2 on here and still 1 out, and puts more pressure on Pearson as the Mariners look to go inning by inning with their bullpen.
I mean, yeah, you got to at least get one, especially the lead runner. Throw just a bit rushed from Guerra, and he just had a little trouble. If he hits him in the letters, 5-4-3 inning-ending double play, but just a tough one there.
Strike here to Austin Kelly. Middle of the order is looming here against Will Pearson. 1 away, 2 on. It's low here. Redshirt sophomore at Lipscomb. Entered tonight hitting 1 for 10 for the Harbor Hawks this season. We're looking to stay above 500 here. Meanwhile, the Mariners tied for first place in the Cape Cod East standings. 1-1 low, and it gets away from the catcher and Arndt. That'll send Lipsy down to third, and he won't get any more than that.
And into second is Smith, and they actually ruled that a hit for Cam Smith for the time being. But yeah, Will Pearson really just having a tough time with his control out there, and finally got a ground ball over to Guerra. Need to have that play made, and we'll see if Harwich can get more offense, because it looks like they're going to need it with Hyannis threatening here, 1 away and 2 on in scoring position.
Infield is playing in. Shot down the right side, foul.
Need to find a way to get a strikeout here. 2-2. You got 1 pitch to give, and got to just paint a corner. Get them looking. You do not want this ball in play. Ties the ball game.
Go-ahead run is at second. Pearson with the 2-2. Fouled back. On third, Lipsy. On second, Smith. After the infield single, the Mariners had a chance at a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. Instead, Kelly, who had the second leading batting average at Lipscomb this season, 62 RBIs, looking to translate some of that dominance here. The 2-2 lined over into right field, and it's through for a base hit. 1 across the score in Lipsy, and Cameron Smith will be holding at third here. So a game-tying RBI base hit, and it's 3-3 in a new ball game here in the 8th with still 1 away.
And that walk to Lipsy proved to hurt. I remember mentioning that you had to get those bottom 2 guys in the order out. You didn't do it, and then that combined with the infield single, although I believe it was an error on Guerra. Just Harwich kind of beating themselves up tonight. You think about the error throwing it around in the last inning that allowed Hyannis to get a run, and just everything going wrong, and that'll draw out Steve Englert.
Englert might just be going to Jacob Gomez sooner than he expected as he makes the motion for a pitching change here. The Hawks and the Mariners in their first meeting on the season, turning it into a new ball game here in the 8th. Englert takes the ball from Will Pearson as he draws in Jacob Gomez out of the bullpen. We'll step aside for a moment. The Anglers and the Hawks tied at 3 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. An RBI base hit from Austin Kelly, making it a new ball game here between Hyannis and Harwich. With runners on the corners, entering in the ball game, the left-hander in Jacob Gomez.
From Oklahoma State, number 4, Zach Earhart.
So Zach Earhart out of Oklahoma State will pinch run for Austin Kelly at first as he comes up with a game-tying hit. The first pitch, high for a ball. No back pick from Brian Arndt. Will Pearson just getting one out in his latest debut on the season after pitching 1 1/3 innings last time out as he turns it over to Jacob Gomez. Another bunt shown, still with Guerra playing on the inner side at third. Gomez, the rising senior Old Dominion, had 4 scoreless relief innings and 14 faced in that 5-run road win against the Kettleers. As it'll be 3-0 here. This is a crafty at-bat from Brody Donay. Due for a base hit here, striking out twice and a ground out as well. The tall right-hander waiting against Gomez, the southpaw. Taken for a strike with a fastball. 3-1 here. On third, Cam Smith, as he looks to score here, wisely held up at third. Instead of it being a 2-run single, it's just one to tie us up here. 3-1 inside. And it's going to be a 5-pitch walk. Now on second is going to be the pinch runner, and on first, Brody Donay with a huge one-out walk here. And you consider the magnitude of the situation that Jacob Gomez faces. He had that 7-out save here on opening day, and this is the most dire situation he faces.
And it's difficult because you're put into a situation where you inherit runners, 2 runners on with 1 away, and the runner on third represents what would be the lead run. I mean, it's tough to find yourself in a place where you can have poise and composure. We'll see if Gomez can bounce back. Infield is in. They're trying to prevent the run.
Double play on the ground, closes it out here with the bases loaded for Jacob Gomez. The 0-1, and it's 0-2 here to Michael Sirota. Scored on a pair of errors from the Harwich infield. And he has a chance to give Hyannis another lead here. The 2-2. A swing and a miss. Second out here. It almost seemed as if he didn't go around, but it was enough for Al Bosdell down at first to deem it a strikeout as Gomez picks up a strikeout in his latest relief appearance.
See, I disagree. I think he absolutely went around. I think they got it right that time. And that's a huge out. Pinch hitter coming up to the plate as well.
Your attention, please.
So it'll be Will Taylor coming up here with Zach Earhart on second, Cam Smith on third, and Brody Donay on first. Huge 2-out spot here for the Harbor Hawks, who led 1-0 going into the bottom of the 6th before a 3-run home run from Lorenzo Carrier. They got a run back in the top of the 7th, and they tie it here with an RBI base hit out of Austin Kelly, who was pinch run for. Outside here from Gomez. 9 strikeouts here for this Mariners pitching staff. One out. A strike on a slider that time. Mariners, over their last 5 games, have had 46 strikeouts. They have not shot away from being able to go to that when they're not unable to get the contact on the ground. 1-1. Line to the left side off the glove of Guerra at third.
Oh.
And there will be no play to be made here as Hyannis takes the lead on an RBI infield single as the pinch hit opportunity comes alive, and it comes alive to fruition for Will Taylor as the Clemson sophomore gives Hyannis a 4-3 lead, still with 2 away here in the 8th.
And it's a clutch piece of hitting. Roped it down the line. Tough play for Guerra. He's got to find a way to knock that down, though. Then he can just go to the tag the bag at third. Tough break for Harwich. They're just can't help, themselves right now.
Here's a ground ball up the middle. Goodman, he loses it off of second. That scores 1, and it's going to score 2 as well.
Oh, boy.
A base hit and an E4 here. Scoring 2 for Hyannis as the bases continue to stay on here. It's 6-3. So an RBI hit, giving Hyannis a 6-3 lead, and it's starting to unravel here for the Mariners.
UC Santa Barbara, number 26,
Oh, this is just, it's tough to watch. That's like the third or fourth Little League play that Harwich has just struggled. I mean, we saw the throw around that drew in a run. That one, it goes right under the glove, a lay, and then, oh, here we go again.
This one gets to the backstop. Arndt loses it, and that'll move one in a scoring position. Across the score is going to be the pinch hitter and Will Taylor. So a pass ball here, scoring the 7th run of the game for Hyannis. It's a 5-run 8th inning, and the Mariners cannot help Jacob Gomez whatsoever here in his latest relief appearance. Aaron Parker at the plate here. He's 0 for 3. 1-0 misses high. 2-0 here. Dene across the score, in addition to Taylor, after Trey Lipsy and Cameron Smith scored. 3-0. Parker on the evening, 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts, a ground out. Takes a strike there. Well, the Mariners seem to have the answer they needed, the jolt they had sought after with Lorenzo Carrier on the 3-run home run. And instead it is gone from bad to worse here in the 8th. Fouled back. 3-2 here to Taylor. 7 runs on 6 hits now for Hyannis. 1 error committed. The Mariners with 2 errors, 3 runs on 4 hits here tonight. On second, Eric Snow. Misses low, ball 4. Jacob Gomez not getting the outs here, but the defense has not helped him whatsoever.
Ugly inning. It's like a coloring book almost. Now Hyannis is batted around. It'll be all the way back to Trey Lipsy again, who started it all with a walk, came around to score.
Parker showing the discipline at the plate, certainly due to reach after starting 0 for 3 here today. Now 2 on with 2 away. Lipsy watches the slider outside. Mariners this season have been relatively solid in the fields. 12 errors entering here tonight. Outside again.
I mean, yeah, this is just tough to watch at this point. Now you got Jalen Jones loosening in the Harwich pen.
Gomez in need of an out here, working with the runner in scoring position. And it's outside again. For Gomez, he allowed a 2-run single in the 9th on opening day. He gave the Mariners pitching 2 strikeouts, however. He's gone 6 1/3 innings to this point, entering his 3rd outing on the season. But it has not been memorable thus far. And it goes high. A 4-pitch walk here for Trey Lipsy. He gets a walk for the 2nd time here in the 8th after coming up to start the inning against Will Pearson, as the Mariners cannot find any continuity out of the pitching or the fielding for that matter. So here's Brodke Lowry. He's 0 for 3 here tonight.
Just need 1 out. That's all it takes to get out of this mess. And then you got to get your offense to go to work. All the fans filing out here at White House.
5'9", 170-pound junior out of Tennessee. Chance to extend the lead here.
Gomez just tripped and fell almost over on the mound.
Mariners lost 5-3 2 nights ago in Bourne. Have a long way to come back out of here. Fouled away.
Yeah, it's just, we've said it a lot, and probably people are getting sick of hearing it, but those big players that left either for the draft or for transfer portal or just departing Team USA, and it has really hurt the Mariners. I mean, those are 3 guys that they relied on in Culpepper, Seaver King, and Hunter Fitzgerald.
Not seen too many pitchers leave other than Gabe Van Eman, who was just released yesterday, but he had only pitched 1.
Sam Armstrong, big piece that's gone.
Tom Shimoleski here in the start tonight. 5 innings, gave up just 1 earned run. The Mariners certainly needed more of a jolt, and it goes high. That loads the bases here. Bradkey Lowry earning his first walk on the night. He reaches for the first time. And that flips the lineup card here for Cameron Smith. And to say that the Mariners were out of this game even before Gomez came on would have been different, because Gomez now giving up multiple hits for multiple runs. And that'll draw Steve Engler out of the bullpen, or out of the dugout, as he makes a call for the bullpen, as Jalen Jones of Ohio State will be coming on here, as the Mariners have a 5-run inning against them here in the 8th inning. We'll step away for another pitching change, the third of the frame, here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
Third baseman from Florida State, number 13.
Cameron Smith coming back up with Jalen Jones in the ball game here. It's the third pitching change here for the Mariners in the 8th inning. The Harbor Hawks, meanwhile, looking to an RBI base hit out of Austin Kelly. And ever since, it has been a defensive blunder for the Mariners. Jones entering with 2 away. He needs just 1 with the bases loaded. First one low and inside to Cameron Smith, the Florida State product, here tonight with an infield single. Reach as a hit batsman back in the 6th. 0 for 2 start before that. Mariners not on the verge of giving up the most walks in the league this season, as Jones has had command issues this year. Parker on third, Lipsy on second, Lowry on first. Opportunity for the Mariners to get out of this one without more than 6 on. The 3-0 from Jones. Skied over towards the right side. Obi in right field territory makes the catch with the fog looming in. So the Mariners crumbling here in the 8th inning. They gave up 6 runs here to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who score those 6 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and leave the bases loaded as Jalen Jones, the third new pitcher in the inning, finally forces a flyout to close it out. Going into the bottom of the 8th here at White House, The Mariners trailing 8-3. We'll be back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Well, the Mariners, after a 6-run 8th inning, need a spark, and they need it in mass fashion here with Jacob Humphrey, Ali Camarillo, and Kennedy Jones due up, with Harwich trailing Hyannis 8-3. Humphrey on the evening, 1 for 3. Came around to score on a 3-run home run from Lorenzo Carrier. Watched it high for strike 1 here. The Mariners making 3 pitching changes in the 8th inning. It was Will Pearson coming in. Jacob Gomez succeeded him, and then Steve Langer going to the southpaw out of Ohio State in Jalen Jones. Jones only needing 1 out to face 1 batter, and he got that as Cameron Smith flew out to right field. But to consider where the Mariners are right now versus where they were 3 innings ago is drastically different.
Just a really tough spot to be in. I mean, there's no way around it. Just poor defense and not having the bats going other than the home run from Carriers is just going to lead to your demise 9 times out of 10. And, yeah, it's just been a long night. No way around it.
Skied foul, or into middle infield. Moving over short center field. Snow makes the catch for the first out of the bottom of the 8th. Meanwhile, the Mariners, Devin, not getting a lot out of the lineup. 5 straight retired since the Lorenzo Carrier home run. The message from Steve Engler has to be this one's not over yet, despite 6 here in the 8th.
Yeah, I mean, that's a crooked number. That's really tough. If I'm not mistaken, that's got to be the season high against the Mariners scored in an inning. And just, unfortunately, really tough to come back on when it's this late in the ballgame and you really have not had any offense. I mean, yeah, an uncomfortable swing from Camarillo that time. And we'll see. I mean, it's going to take a serious rally. I mean, those 6 runs, just 4 hits, and, you know, a bunch of just weird baseball walks, just tough.
Camarillo out of CSU Northridge set to go to Texas A&M. 0 for 3 here to start the night. Meanwhile, the Mariners, the most runs against in an inning were 6 back at Wareham. That was a 12-1 loss. In the 8th inning, the Mariners lost it as Camarillo shoots this one deep out towards left field. Leaping at the wall is going to be Lipsy as he makes the catch for a loud second out here with the fog looming in, and the Ohio State product in Trey Lipsy was unfazed.
Yeah, that's a really nice grab. Headed out towards the warning track. When that ball just keeps going and going, going, to be able to track that and miss the visibility stuff, that's a really nice play. Credit to Lipsy.
We've seen the speed on the base pass, and that time he left no doubt the speed near the warning track. So we're quickly 2 away to set up Kennedy Jones here. Outside. Jones flied out to center field back in the first, singled to left field in the fourth, and reached on an error by the shortstop in Snow back in the sixth. Part of Harwich's only 3 runs here on the night. Mariners defense breaking down here in the top of the 8th. Jones having to protect here. Lofted foul. 2 away with nobody on here. The Mariners were behind 1-0 going into the bottom of the 6th. Cross Sibley of Southern Miss into the ball game here for the Harbor Hawks. This season at Southern Miss, the redshirt freshman going no more than 4 2/3 innings, and if he can go 2 innings here, then the Harbor Hawks would be set. Jones takes it high. It's going to be a 5-pitch walk here. So the Mariners with a 2-out base runner, breaking up a streak of 7 straight retired. Certainly has to be encouraging. And that'll bring up Lorenzo Carrier, responsible for the only scoring in the game, but it just looks different this time, and for him it has to be the same approach all the while.
No doubt, and if he can chip away at this lead, that would be instrumental to a potential comeback. We shall see, though.
Carrier on the night, grounding out to shortstop twice. 6-4-3 inning-ending double play before a 3-run home run. His second on the season. The Mariners not hitting a ton of home runs this season. Carrier swings and misses there, 1-1.
Huge cut that time. Almost got all of that once again.
Game did not start off with a lot of hits. After 4 innings, there were just 4 combined hits between Hyannis and Harwich. Mariners have a long way to go to get back in this one. They'll need hits fast. It's going to be up to the middle of the order here with Carrier. And if the Mariners get to Guerra and Scannell, still only 1 hit combined between those two. Guerra 1 for 3, Scannell with only a walk. 2-1, a fastball missing away. The runner on first is Kennedy Jones here as a 2-out base runner on a walk. And a swing and a miss as Carrier will have to protect here. Despite Carrier being ahead in the count, he has certainly got the power that's needed to give the Mariners a hit here. Harwich without a hit since the 6th inning. And that was Carrier's home run as he takes it outside. And that'll send Jones into second. Back-to-back walks. So an opportunity starting to grow here for the Mariners. Mariners go deep here. That would cut it to a 2-run ball game with Mason Guerra coming up here. But with this one slowly getting out of hand, opportunity just for the Mariners to imagine what their approach is going into the 9th inning if they're unable to scratch across runs here. Sibley out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Relieving Darren Horn here, or rather, Colleran. A strike here to Guerra. 1-1 with 2 away. The Mariners scoreless in the 7th, looking for a run here. A Harwich team that led twice going into late innings against Bourne 2 nights ago. The 1-1. Lofted out towards right fields. Sirota on to make the catch for the final out of the 8th inning. The Mariners get back-to-back walks. They do not get a hit, and they remain scoreless in the inning as they go, not in order, but they go down 8-3 going into the 9th inning. The Mariners trying to make it a quick 9th inning before having their last chances in the 9th. Jalen Jones going back out onto the mound. We'll be back in a moment on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Jalen Jones back out for the 9th inning. Came across in the 8th inning to get a fly out for the final out of the inning after the Mariners surrendered 6 runs on 4 hits. So a pinch hitter coming in here in Lane. Alex Lane off the bench here tonight, senior of Northeastern, Andover, Massachusetts native. A tall right-hander at 6'5", 230 as Jones bounces one off of home plate. Command issues have been there for Jalen Jones this season. Looking to get 1 1/3 innings, what might be the final 1 1/3 innings, unless the Mariners have a 5-1 rally in them. And he's quickly behind in the count, 2-0.
Jones last outing, he went 2/3 of an inning, 36 pitches just to get those 2 outs. Surrendered 2 runs, 1 strikeout, and walked 3.
Misses high here on a fastball.
In the outing before that, 1 2/3, 51 pitches. Gave up 1 hit, 3 earned runs, struck out just 1 and walked 5. He has really struggled in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
The Harbor Hawks brought so many rounds in the 8th inning as a 4-pitch walk is issued here to Alex Lane. Pitch hitting for Austin Kelly, had an RBI base hit back in the 8th. As Jones continues to struggle despite getting the out back in the 8th. Lane, this season at Northeastern, one of 6 300 hitters. He had a team-high 57 RBIs, but he just needed a walk there. Transferred to Northeastern after a couple of seasons at Bryant. So he leads off the 9th here with a walk as Brody Donay comes up here as the designated hitter tonight. He's only reached once, and that was on a walk back in the 8th. A strike from Jones here. Well, the Mariners will be back home here tomorrow at White House Field. Have to think that see some defensive replacements, if not pinch hitting opportunities for the Mariners, being down by 5. The Mariners here tonight looking to 4 relievers out of the bullpen.
Kenny Lavari up and throwing a positional player.
It's interesting. Have yet to see one this season. A positional player on the mound for the Mariners. 0-2 here to Donay. He struck out twice. He's grounded out. On first, Kelly. The 0-2. Down the middle, called for strike 3. The first strikeout here for Jalen Jones on the night. It's the 10th for Harwich pitching. There's one away. Ground ball double play puts away the 9th for the Mariners.
That will be a nice way to end it for sure. Nice job by Jones there, finally finding the control. 4 straight balls in the last at bat, and now 3 straight strikes. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Now keep it going. That's the challenge. Continue to find that control against the heart of the order.
Heart of the order has not been too promising here today, with the Harbor Hawks actually having only just 6 hits. Before the 8th inning, the middle of the order had just 1 hit. And I think of just a couple of defensive mistakes, unforced errors haunting the Mariners late here tonight. Had a 3-1 lead going into that 7th inning before the Mariners saw it to go to 3-2. Michael Sirota back up here for the 5th time tonight. Just can't get the fastball low enough. And Sirota, being the veteran hitter that he is going to be able to lay off of it. Both teams have had their chances here as Jones tries a pickoff attempt. And if you're looking for that ground ball double play, if not for another strikeout here, certainly have to just focus on the batter. Go pitch by pitch here if you're Jones, especially with the command issues that you've had this season. Mariners with a 3.65 ERA on the season as Sirota rips it into left field for a base hit. Stopping at second here, and there's a chance to bring home more runs as Alex Lane will stop the Northeastern senior, wisely not pushing his way into the third. Doesn't seem as he has a lot of speed on the base paths. Brings up Will Taylor, who pinch hit for Nick Mitchell back in the 8th inning. And Taylor, the sophomore out of Clemson, a very hard-hitting Clemson team this season, just has a chance to extend more runs here, more insurance, should I say. Single to left field, getting Lane into second. It's the 7th Hyannis hit here on the evening. Strike 1 here to Taylor. Hit 362 at Clemson this season. Has not really carried over to Hyannis right now. 185 he's hitting before today. Chance to provide himself with some momentum here. It's 0-2 quickly. That Jones slider certainly has a chance to be good if he develops it well with the command. Be a quest to see here if he can get a strikeout. He's already got one looking here in the 9th. The 0-2. And it goes high. It's 1-2.
Good spot to miss, though, up in the zone. Right around a little above the letters. Maybe get a hitter to bite when it comes in at that level. Sometimes it looks like you can just lift it out of the ballpark. And unfortunately, real discipline we just saw.
1-2 low. Lane on second, Sirota on first. 1 out hit here. The Mariners, when they come back up in the 9th inning, Scannell, Arndt, and Obi will likely be due up, withstanding any pinch hit opportunities. That one gets away from Arndt on a pass ball. That will send 2 in a scoring position now. So it brings up a payoff pitch here, and again, the command issues just faltering.
That looked like it could have maybe been a strike, though. If it was caught, I think it would have been more borderline. Arndt just couldn't squeeze it that time and might have cost an out. I don't know. That's one of those pitches that just looks like if it was framed, it could be strike 3, but gets away and makes it a ball call.
Payoff pitch, foul back. So Jones already up to 19 pitches here. Efficiency has been a concern for him out of the bullpen this season. He was the 3rd reliever to come on in the 8th inning. Now on third, Lane. On second, in Sirota. The payoff pitch goes low. Vacant base goes occupied here against Jalen Jones. He misses low with the curveball as the bases go loaded. So Will Taylor reaches for the 2nd time here tonight. Pitching staff has been doomed. Have to see how much longer.
That's a good way to put it, Wyatt.
It's been doomed. Pitching staff just not getting the outs it needs. Tom Shimoleski getting a 1-2-3 job in the 1st inning, and in his 3rd start on the season, it's been anything but ever since. Now the first pitch on the way to Eric Snow goes low. Harbor Hawks have no reason to hurry here as they look for additional runs. Harwich pitching tonight, giving up 9 walks, despite a high volume of strikeouts. As it gets away from Arndt again, as that will score Alex Lane from third. As 2 get in a scoring position again, it's a 9-3 ball game, and the command an issue here for Jones, as he has also had Arndt multiple instances this season. He went 2/3 of an inning last time, and in his 3rd outing on the season, everything seems to be glooming in the worst sense.
Yeah, it's been tough. Got to find ways to pitch around adversity, and Jones just goes out there and hucks it, doesn't really try and aim it, just trying to blow away hitters, and at this level, that's not really going to help you out. Yes, you may have velocity, but got to find a way to have some finesse.
Again, away from Arndt here. That will score one more in Sirota. A 10-3 deficit for the Mariners, as all Arndt can do is scamper back and forth between the netting right now. So a 2-0 count here to Eric Snow.
I mean, this is the last 6 outs have been Little League baseball for Harwich. I mean, this is unacceptable. Coach Engler, I mean, granted he's there to make sure the players have a good time and work and develop, but he cannot be happy with what they've put out on the field here in the end of the ball game.
Wild pitches here, padding the Hyannis lead. Just 1 hit thus far here in the 9th inning, but 2 walks, 2 wild pitches, extending this outing here for Jones in the wrong way as it goes inside. A 5-pitch walk here for Eric Snow. He reaches for the 3rd time here today as Aaron Parker comes back up, but it won't be before Steve Englert goes out and makes a bullpen call here. 10-3 lead for Hyannis, still with 1 away here in the 9th. We'll step away here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Kenny Lavari in as the 5th relief pitcher here today as he faces Aaron Parker, the catcher here for Hyannis. Parker back in the 8th inning, reaching on a walk, what was a 6-run inning for the Harbor Hawks. Lavari on his first relief outing on the season. And you know, you consider, Devin, that he didn't start on Steve Englert's card today, so he has some endurance built up here for his first relief appearance on the season, working with runners on the corners.
6th pitcher that Englert has had to use.
2-1 here to Parker. 2 strikeouts, a ground out, and a walk here today. 0 for 6 entering tonight for the Harbor Hawks as he fouls one back. Still 1 out. Runners on the corners here. Taylor on third, Snow on first. Pair of wild pitches and a pair of walks back to back, giving Jalen Jones fits once again here. 2-2 way high, 3-2. For Jones, it was all about getting 1 out, at least here in the 9th inning. He got that with a looking strikeout. And now for Lavari, it's just about getting the final 2. Skied out towards center fields. Rushing back Goodman. He's going to leave it in to center for Humphrey. Too short for a sacrifice fly. The runners stay on the corners here with 2 away. And that's an out. Now, it might have been long awaited not only for Harwich, but for both teams as well. Would you say, Devin?
Yeah, no. It was definitely overdue. Needed to get a few more of those earlier. I mean, it's crazy that Hyannis put up 10 runs on 7 hits. That just tells you all you need to know about the Harwich walk situation. It's become a serious problem, especially with the bullpen guys. The starters give great outings. We saw it from Chmielewski here tonight, and then the bullpen just completely beats it up.
Shot out towards left field. Carrier makes the catch. Not a very graceful one, but all the while, the Mariners get the out they need to close out the 9th inning. Well, they have last licks, trailing by 7. Going into the bottom half of the 9th, it'll be the bottom of the order due up in Scannell, Arendt, and Obi. Can the Mariners put something together? We shall find out here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 9th, the Harwich Mariners trailing 10-3 against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. A new pitcher into the ballgame for Hyannis. Matthew Maloney of New Mexico State deals one low to Scannell. Right-hander out of Huntington Beach, California. Scannell, meanwhile, looking for that first hit on the night. Swings at a spiker that time. So it's going to be 0-2. While the Mariners here tonight. Had a little bit of life to them in the 6th inning. Not over yet. Mariners set to host Wareham tomorrow. Joe Savino is likely to get the start. Formerly Elon, now Virginia. 3 outs to work with here for Scannell. The Mariners leaving 2 on in the 8th inning against Cross Sibley. Now a new pitcher in Maloney, just trying to shut them down in order. Scannell making that difficult, however. The Harbor Hawks on the verge of going 8-6-1 on the season. They had trailed Katuitt by 2 games in the Cape Cod West Division standings entering tonight. Team has not relied on a lot of hits tonight with the 4th lowest batting average. Scannell ropes it over towards the right side, and it hooks just foul.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know.
That'll probably look fair to me.
6 runs in the 8th inning for Hyannis after it drew to within 1 in the 7th, marking a single-game high against the Mariners this season, dating back to the Mariners' 2nd road game against the Wareham Gatemen. That was 6 runs in the 8th inning as well. Scannell pops it well back behind home plate. Still a 1-2 count here to the San Antonio native. Falmouth beating Orleans at Eldridge Park. That helps the Mariners a little bit in the standings. Meanwhile, Yarmouth Dennis falling to Wareham 8-6. Talk about help in the standings as Scannell swings and misses. And that's a strikeout here. Scannell going down on strikes for the first time here tonight. The 7th strikeout for the Mariners lineup, as this is on the verge of being a 1-2-3 inning with a pinch hitter coming in here. And that's going to be Ivan Arias of Vanderbilt, now of Dayton.
And he's been fantastic in his small sample size, hitting 500 for the Mariners. We'll see what he can do.
Well, the Mariners still trailing by 7 down to their final 2 outs. Devin, certainly seemed as if it was in their hands with that Carrier 3-run home run. The Mariners going into that 6th inning had only 2 combined hits. So to think that the Mariners could have at least pulled it off with a 3-1 victory, gone to Jacob Gomez for a save opportunity, was certainly by not the furthest stretch of imagination. As it goes down the middle here to Arias, it's 1-1.
And the reality is, it's just one of those games that you just got to turn the page on. I mean, granted, you still got 2 outs here, but barring something ridiculous, you just got to put it in the past. This was Harwich's game to lose. Coming in, Tom Chmielewski, arguably your best starter, and you can't get him any run support. You finally do, and then your defense just not there, and only 4 hits in the ball game, handful of errors. It's just not going to win. And you got a big opponent coming in Wareham tomorrow, number 2 team in the West, and so got to find ways to just move on and prepare for them because they whacked you pretty good last time too, 12-1.
Mariners did recover that time with a 3-0 victory against the Bourne Braves here at home. It's still a long way to go in the season for a Mariners team that has been in first place, resulting from that 5-game win streak. Climb back into first place with that win against Falmouth, 8-1. That was that convincing victory that gave you a lot of faith that the Mariners could get it done at home or on the road. Certain number of those wins in that 5-game win streak coming here at White House Field. So Arias with a 5-pitch walk here to set up Devin Obie. Strike on the outer half. Meanwhile, Hyannis tonight, not too shy of the Mariners with the relievers they've needed. Should you say need? They've looked to 4 out of the bullpen. A half swing. The appeal down to first. Obie held. This one all but over here from White House Field. Pearson, Gomez, and Jones teaming up in the 8th inning. Solid start out of Tom Chmielewski. Did not go 6 as he did in his prior 2 outings. Faced 17 batters, got 4 strikeouts. Certainly was in position to get more strikeouts as well. Maloney misses low. It goes to 3-1.
This is like death by 1,000 cuts, too. Because the reality is Harwich is probably not going to score 7 runs. And just toying with them by throwing around the zone, not giving them anything to hit.
Fouled away to the right side. Lane loses it. Obi here tonight struck out swinging the 7th. He's due for a hit. Arias on first as a pinch hitter. Mariners had an opportunity to win it, as that one goes inside for ball 4. Back-to-back walks here from Maloney. It's runners on first and second. You say it's never over until the fat lady sings. Well, the Mariners might be taking that to heart right now.
Yeah. No, hey, why not give them a run? Play for your pride. See what they can come out with here, but this is just, yeah, it's just the pace of the game. I mean, played the first 6, 7 innings in an hour and a half, and it's been an hour and a half to play the last 3. I mean, just complete shift.
Here's a swing and a miss from Jack Goodman. 0 for 3 here tonight. 2 groundouts and a strikeout for a Hyannis team that has gotten 7 strikeouts out of its pitching staff thus far. Goes low here to Goodman. Mariners, meanwhile, despite not having any hits since the 6th inning with that 3-run home run from Lorenzo Carrier, they have had 4 walks here over the 8th and the 9th. Certainly credit the plate discipline, but it might just also be a matter of fact of Hyannis just missing away from the zone. So 1-2 here to Goodman, making his debut here tonight. 1-2, taken on the outer half. Goodman strikes out for the 2nd time here tonight. He falls to 0 for 4. As the Mariners are down to their final out with Jacob Humphrey staying in the leadoff spot here.
Center fielder from UMass Lowell, number 36.
So Humphrey comes up, working with a little bit of a spark here from the Mariners with Arias on second, Obi on first.
Definitely some serious velocity out of the right-hander. Got to credit him there, just struggling with the control. And that breaking ball, some serious downward action. Also cutting a little bit away from the plate. He's got good stuff, just trouble with the control.
Found a little bit of control there on a swing and a miss from the UMass Lowell product. Single to shortstop back in the 6th. And he has not reached around that. A swing and a miss. The Mariners down to their final strike here. 10 runs on 7 hits here for Hyannis. 3 runs on 4 hits for the Mariners. 3 combined errors in this ball game. Maloney stepping off to get the signs here.
And Humphrey, someone who started that 6-inning rally that led to 3 runs with a leadoff single and a stolen base.
Fouls it away. Staying alive here just at the bottom of the hour. Breeze has certainly picked up here at White House Field since the 1st inning. Mariners trying to stay in first tonight as the 1-2 is lofted out towards left field. And nobody's going to get it despite it still being playable. Lipsy was down from left field near the bullpen. So it's still 1-2. Now with Yarmouth Dennis losing here tonight, in addition to the Orleans Firebirds losing, still room to believe that the Mariners may still at least be in a tie for first place, albeit they gave up 6 runs in the 8th. The 1-2 to Humphrey. Slider on the outer half. It gets called looking. So it's the 3rd strikeout here for Maloney as he strikes out the side here in the 9th. The Mariners fall 10-3 here against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, and they fall to 9-6 on the season and 5-4 here at White House Field this season. The Mariners set to come back tomorrow night for a redemption game against the Wareham Gatemen, but for now we'll step away and come back briefly on the Harwich Mariners post-game show. We'll be back on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Well, the Harwich Mariners fall 10-3 here at White House Field. Wyatt Copeland, Devin Dobeck here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Devin, aside from a 3-run blast from Lorenzo Carrier, cleanup hitter, just nothing from the Harwich Mariners lineup to really endorse on, in addition to lack of command all game long and a blunder defensively.
I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, but you got to shake it. I mean, Tom Chmielewski gave you 5 strong innings. Once again, he always gives his team a chance to win every time he's in the ball game, and the bats just weren't there tonight. You got the 3-run shot from Carrier, and it looked like, there might be life, but to be completely honest with you, the way the offense is playing, I was hoping 3 would be enough because I didn't have confidence that anyone would be able to step up, string a few together. Of course, you got into the Hyannis bullpen, but they were able to slam the door on you. I mean, you didn't have a single hit since the Carrier home run, which came in the 6th inning. Just completely not its best. I mean, there was a bunch of errors both on and off the scorebook. They were scored a little differently, and just some really interesting stuff. And sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
The Mariners fall 5-3 last day against the Bourne Braves. Lose their second straight here, 10-3. The Mariners set to come back here to White House Field to face the Wareham Gatemen tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Devin Dobeck and I will be here on the broadcast with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. But for now, we say so long. For our producer, Sean Sears, guiding us through an extensive battle here between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Harwich Mariners. For my broadcast partner, Devin Dobeck, I'm Wyatt Copeland saying so long, and we say goodnight from White House Field here on the Harwich Mariners.